Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, and streaming, and all sorts of good things. It's Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. That means it's game day for Jackass. Very excited for Jackass. I know Ray is super excited for Jackass. Gonna go see that tonight. I'm not kidding. I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very, very excited for it. Anyway, joining me here today in this celebration of Jackass Day, sitting right over there, he is the producer of movies like Agent Cody Banks, director of the William Shatner film Free Enterprise. He's worked on the documentary stuff, material for like Lord of the Rings, Superman Returns. He's got Tango Shalom was out this year. He's attached to Dota on Netflix right now. What can you say about Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett? Robert, how you doing today?
Well, apparently I have no short-term memory. I can't remember the conversations we had less than half an hour ago. John, it's great to be here for another fine day, another glorious day in the core.
Where all that came from is that, so when Rob walked in today, I mentioned, oh, hey, there's the Madam Web thing with Dakota Johnson. Cool. And that was about a half hour ago. And then about 3 minutes before we start the show, Rob looks up and goes, hey, guys, they're saying that Dakota Johnson is joining the Sony Spider-Verse as Madam Web. And the three of us just look at him. It's like, we had this conversation a few minutes ago.
It's like someone's going crazy.
I don't know, man. Maybe too much coffee, maybe not enough.
It's a good start to the day. We're having a good start today. Anyway, sitting, of course, right over there, joining me for the glory that is going to be Jackass later. He's going to be joining you guys in the live chat during the show today. He is, of course, Ray Ora. Ray, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Good to have you here. And sitting right beside him, she is a vocal coach. She teaches voice acting and animations. You've heard her voice in a bunch of the animations you guys have probably watched. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Chris Carr.
Hey, how you doing?
It's good to have all of you guys here, and it's awesome to have you guys here today joining us for another fine installment of the John Campea Show. It's always a glorious day in the core.
It is another. I love the core.
I love the core.
Every meal a banquet. And Chris Carr is our own centipede.
That's right. It's a little throwback.
Out of context, it always makes me go, wait. Oh, okay.
Context is king. Anyway,
Between
guys,
Starship Troopers and Centipede, we're doing well.
we're all lined
Starship
up.
Troopers was my first VO
Or
job.
aliens, I meant.
Was that you did start? You worked on?
I did the animated film that they produced was the very first voiceover job I ever did.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you a centipede?
No, I was an AI and a bunch of soldiers. Stephen Foster, who's a lovely, lovely ADR director, was in my bar, and we had a great time, and I was giving him lots and lots of drinks, and at the end of it, he was like, you should come audition for me. And I thought it was going to be just a thing he'd forget about, and then he hired me for like 15
Isn't that
shows.
the classic Hollywood
Yeah,
story?
wait a minute. Let's go back to you worked at a bar and I didn't know this?
This was in Houston, Rob.
Oh.
Oh, this is prior
This
to
was prior to LA.
Because we should have a bar here. Can you be a mix master general?
I should set
yeah.
up a bar in the back of the studio,
Absolutely.
right beside Henry. Henry could we could put like a little apron on Henry. We could pretend like he's
Super
our
bar.
own. Yes.
I love
Anyway, guys, it is good to have you here with us today, joining us. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Here's how today's show is going to go. We break the show down into two parts. In the first half of the show, we talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we take your live comments and questions. The way you get a live comment or question in is if you're watching the show live, and only if you're watching the show live, you can use the super chat feature in the YouTube chat. It's open right now. A bunch of you guys have already been firing in a ton of stuff. We will leave that open for at least another 10 minutes, maybe, until we've got too many questions that we're able to answer. Then we'll turn it off. So if you got a question or comment about any of our topics you see listed today, go ahead and fire that in. By the way, though, guys, if you're watching the show any other of the 22 hours during the day and you want to send in a question or comment for us to talk about, Rob and I now do a show called Mailbag, and we will do that several times. We've already done 2 episodes. We're going to do a 3rd episode today, and that is the way you get questions on Mailbag, which is we do after the show a little bit later. You can send in, is go down to the description of this video and you'll see a tip link. Click on that or enter it in manually at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. You'll be getting your comment or question on Mailbag if we deem your comment or question appropriate to be used on the show, of course. And of course, you'll be supporting the channel at the same time. And thank you to all you guys who've already been sending in questions for Mailbag. mailbag. Oh, one other thing, guys, a little piece of housekeeping here. If you guys need your daily fix of the John Campea Show, but you can't be in front of a YouTube video, maybe you're commuting or jogging or at work, good news. There's an audio-only version of today's show, an everyday show, that we call the John Campea Show podcast. That puts up on all the major podcasting apps of choice. Whatever yours is, go there, search for the John Campea Show, and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it. Okay, guys. With that down, let's hammer a number of off the tops that have come out here this morning, shall we? And we're going to start off with this one. You know, one of my favorite movies of the year, it's not going to end up as my number one. And it may not even end up in my top two. But one of my favorite movies of the year was, and it was my most anticipated film, was Denis Villeneuve's Dune. I just, when I saw Dune, I could not believe what they were able to accomplish. Like, I don't think, number one, they've ever been able to bring Dune to any kind of a screen, whether it's the big screen or small screen, and bring it to life the way that Denis Villeneuve did in this. And honestly, I don't know that it could ever be done as well. I don't know it can ever be done better than it is. And I absolutely loved it. My wife, Anne, who I saw with the first time, loved it so much. She became instantly obsessed with it. She turned to me after the movie was over, said, I like it more than Star Wars. And she loves Star Wars. Wow. And she's been obsessed with watching it. Like, then we got home and she watched it like every day. She had it on every day until it wasn't on HBO Max anymore. And then she's like, well, I'm going to buy it now then. Like, and a lot of people had this reaction. Well, we're getting into awards season. And we're starting to wonder, what kind of success can it have? Well, the first major ones that have kind of led out is the BAFTA Awards. To make it very reductive, it's the British Academy Awards, basically, to be really reductive about it. But Dune leads the field with 11 nominations. This comes to us from the folks at The Hollywood Reporter. Right, Denis Villeneuve's grand sci-fi spectacle Dune has emerged with 11 nominations for the 2022 BAFTA Film Awards, as unveiled on Thursday, leading the pack of 48 films that will be vying for gold statues at the ceremony on March 13th. Dune's results are unlikely to surprise too many. The film was hotly anticipated to dominate, especially in the craft categories. As it has done, it also bagged a Best Film nomination. There are other 8 nominees, including The Power of the Dog. Kenneth, 6 nominations for Belfast, which I love Belfast. But the nominees elsewhere that are likely to have industry talking, with the 2022 list awash with new faces, unexpected additions, and several major absentees. But anyway, we go down and take a look at some of the major categories. The Best Film nominations for BAFTAs are Belfast, no surprise. Don't Look Up. I like Don't Look Up. Don't get me wrong. I like the movie. I'm just surprised it's popping up on all these Best Picture lists. I don't think it's that good, but that's just me. That's just my own opinion. Anyway, Dune, Licorice Pizza, Power of the Dog. Also, Licorice Pizza is another one that I like, but I just don't see the brilliance that a lot of other people are seeing, but that's okay. All films are subjective. And The Power of the Dog, and then a bunch of other stuff. I love that Dune is getting this kind of attention, because I'll be honest with you guys, as much as I liked it, again, not going to be my top 2, maybe not my top 3, but as much as I loved it, I didn't know if as many people would like it, or like awards folks would love it, but they're embracing it. I love seeing it. Rob, you're seeing that Dune is now nominated for the top award. It leads all films with 11 nominations at the BAFTAs. Are you surprised it's getting that kind of attention? And what's your overall thoughts now on Dune, now that we're separated from it by a few months?
Well, let me see if I can remember.
What? He did a movie called Dune?
No, I think that it's undeniable that the craft on display in Dune is impeccable. You know, I'm always banging on about verisimilitude, and I don't think I've ever seen a science fiction film that has the sense of reality that Dune actually has. I mean, it's extraordinary. The cast is amazing. There's not one place where I feel that Dune falls down, aside from the fact that it's only half the story. But other than that, I mean, it's a staggering achievement. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw that on the Warner lot in the Steve Ross Theater, and it was an overwhelming sensory experience. Like, there's very few movies I've ever seen that do what Dune does. So it's not surprising that it's burning up the awards charts, John, at least over across the pond.
Chris, you had a chance. What do you think about? Are you surprised it took one of the top 5? Because remember, BAFTAs are different. It's not like the Academy Awards where they'll have 10 nominees. Yeah. This had a much smaller list. What do you think about it?
I'm not surprised at all, and I am so jealous you got to go to that Warner Lot screening. I got invited to that, and I couldn't go, so instead I watched Dune as a screener. And Dune is something that should be experienced on a big screen.
It was incredible.
I just need to go see it again. I just need to have the opportunity to see it on a big screen. But I think it does live up to all the things you want in a Best Picture, though. It is the big spectacle. It has gorgeous, gorgeous cinematography, the music, the sound editing. I mean, the cast is impeccable. Like you, I do wish the rest of the story was there. I wish we had part 1 and 2 put together.
Yeah.
And something I had to keep reminding myself too was that the pace was very reminiscent of the text itself, because there were moments where it'd be, I'm used to stuff moving a little faster than this. Come on, guys. But I think that's also, I've just been programmed to expect big explosions and lots of action and things really, really quickly. So this is a slow burn movie that is worth it. And I'm not surprised it's up for this nomination.
I am still agog and aghast that they did not greenlight shooting Dune Part 2 immediately.
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
either.
if you're going to make that kind of an investment, I get it. I understand. Like, they want to do Aragon. And we always go back to that one. We're going to make all 3 of those movies. And of course, in the words of Mike Tyson, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And they got punched in the mouth. You know, Universal was going, we're going to do all these monster universe movies, starting with The Mummy. We're going to do all this. And they got punched in the mouth. But with Dune and with a top 2 or 3 greatest filmmaker in the world right now, and you're investing that kind of a property, and you know you can save money and just the logistics of it, I'm still flabbergasted that they didn't just greenlight shooting it the second one back to back. At any rate, guys, question is for you. What do you think about Dune leading the way with 11 nominations for the upcoming BAFTA Awards, including a Best Picture nomination? Are you guys surprised? Are you happy about it? Maybe Dune didn't work for you. Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's go on to another off the top here, and that is this. You know, one of the biggest conveyor belt churning out machines of absolute shit movies is Netflix. Now, Netflix is great when it comes to their TV series. I mean, oh my God. And every once in a while, they'll squat down and squeeze out a diamond in the rough. Every once in a while, they will. They'll put out the odd movie that's really good.
I don't like that image in my mind.
Sorry about that. But every once in a while, you'll get an Old Guard, or you'll get an Irishman, or you'll get something like that once in a while. But in the stream of the 70 to 90 movies they put out a year, the vast majority of them are crap. But one of the things that Netflix has done really well lately is they get all the movie stars now. Like, all the big stars sign up to appear in Netflix films now. And nowhere is that more apparent than the brand new 2022 Netflix preview of their upcoming movies this year. And Rob, you looked it up. How many feature films did they got coming out this year?
88.
88 films. That's 1.5 new movies a week.
I mean,
1.5 new movies a week.
And you know, there was, like you said, star power. There's a lot of fantasy oriented stuff. There's some science fiction stuff in there. There's obviously Knives Out is in there. It looked like, I get excited, even though I know I shouldn't, John. I get excited. I watch this thing and I'm excited.
So,
am I wrong?
No, I mean, listen, they're always good at making their movies look good. Like, we'll see, like, that movie looks good. Oh yeah, they're always great at that. And then you go and watch it and it's like, whatever. But there were some highlights in this thing. First of all, one of the things they did that I didn't think worked very well was they did the whole Deadpool breaking the fourth wall thing. And they did that with all their movie stars, breaking the fourth wall. I thought that was a little bit cheesy. But other than that, you're getting like Jennifer Lopez in here. You're getting, I just had him and I lost him. You've got Academy Award winners in here. You got Ryan Reynolds in here. You got Ryan Gosling in here. You got Chris Hemsworth in here. You've got all these things. Now, of course, for me, the big thing, if I can find it here properly, there it is. This is the main thing right here. Knives Out 2. Like, that's the one. And that's the one they kind of held back until the very, very end. Obviously, they're treating Knives Out 2 like that is the crown jewel of their film lineup this year. A couple of ones that I wasn't familiar with. I'll see if I can find them, but I think I've moved. Oh yeah, there he goes. We got Jason Momoa as some kind of what do you call him? It's not a centaur. Is it a centaur? Is that what you call him?
He looks like a character out of Saga.
He looks exactly like a character
I'm
out
here
of
for
Saga,
that.
right? Completely out of Saga. So there's that. The Gray Man looks really interesting. And that's the one, of course, we've got here with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans is in The Gray Man. I mean, we've been interested in that one since they first announced it. The Adam Project with Ryan Reynolds that scene where he like kind of pulls out that staff, and that looks pretty cool.
Yep.
The mother does look pretty interesting. They then also showed off Elona Holmes 2. I'm not huge on the first.
It's cute.
It's cute.
It's cute.
Yeah, I'll
It's
give that
fine.
for Elona Holmes. It's not bad.
Henry Cavill. We
It's
love
got
him.
Henry. You got Henry in it. You got to
support
give him the
Henry.
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So you got Henry in it. What was one or two of the other ones they had in there? Did any of them stand out to you, Chris?
You're
Anyone's
gonna make fun of me so much,
Uh-oh.
but you all know how much I love bad Christmas movies. So Lindsay Lohan in Christmas in Wonderland.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that one.
Oh
being on there.
man, I'm gonna watch it, and I know, chat. I know I should do things probably better with my time, but I'm excited about it. It's our house. We like bad movies. It's Tombstone Pizza. It's still pizza.
It's still now. There's another one here that, of course, looks like a direct Harry Potter ripoff, which
Yes.
was what
The
was
School
it
of
called?
Good and Evil.
The School for Good. There's even a Hogwarts in the background there. There's even a Hogwarts in the background.
Charlize being in that though does give me hope.
Okay, if anything is gonna say this might have some credibility, it's the cast list. But still, I just looked. If they didn't put up that title, The School for Good and Evil, I would think this is Harry Potter, the next class.
Yeah.
But who would go to a school like that and study good?
I would.
I wouldn't. I would absolutely study evil. You get further along in life, but
Dark arts.
you could cheat your way through school because that's
Wow.
evil, and
That's
you get,
allowed.
You
You get credit
apparently.
for it.
I would get credit for it. I mean, I would go all evil all the time.
Rob, that's so telling.
Was there anything in this preview, Rob, that stood out to you that you think you're particularly
Well, I'm
looking
just
forward
interested in
to?
the Gray Man because it's like two guys they're both assassins or something going after each other.
Yeah, we talked about that one a few months ago.
Yeah, which that it was nice. Like you what do you taught? You always call it tangibility.
The tangibilization.
Yeah, the tangibilization of it. There it was. I'm like, oh, okay, great. That was the thing I took away from all of this. I'm like, wow, there's a really huge lineup. Who can't Netflix get?
Yeah,
They can get
look,
everyone.
They take look as bad as 95% of their movies are. They take their movie making very seriously. I mean, how seriously can you take it when you're squatting down and crapping out 85 of them a year? I don't know, but I mean, they're serious about trying to promote. They're spending the money, bringing all the big stars because they got to spend the money because whatever. But I don't know. The question is for you guys. Did you have a chance to check out this Netflix 2022 movie preview? There's some pretty interesting stuff in it, to be honest. Did anything in there particularly stand out to you? Obviously, for me, it's going to be Knives Out 2. That's what
that was a cool reveal when the camera pulls back and there's Daniel Craig in the
he
foreground.
just kind of comes into the
Yeah.
thing there.
I
Yeah,
like
because when
that.
they're walking on the boat, I'm like, oh, what's this one? And then Daniel Craig comes
So
in
it's
the frame.
Death on the Knives Out.
Ooh, well done.
Well,
Sorry, you know what?
So many choices to fall asleep through.
so many.
I got 80 movies to catch my Z's on.
Fall asleep to.
Anyway, guys, the question is for you. Which one of those movies stood out to you, if any? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys, one more off the top. There was a bunch that came out today. So one more off the top is this. Not a ton to reveal, but it's still pretty damn interesting. Easily my most anticipated show of the year. More than any Marvel show, more than any Star Wars show, more than any Property Brothers season 25. Don't laugh. I like the Property
I
Brothers.
love them. I love it for you.
I like the Property Brothers.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And I think they're good Canadian kids too, if I'm not mistaken. I could be
Probably.
wrong about that. But at any rate,
If you say it's true.
it might be true. But the show I am most excited about is the Lord of the Rings show. Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. That to me, which is, again, wrap your heads around this, folks. The most expensive TV shows in history on a per episode basis. Game of Thrones was $15 million per episode. Above that, according to reports, the Marvel Disney Plus series are clocking in at about 25 million an episode. The Lord of the Rings series is, what was the final, what was it, 58?
Something like that.
Yeah.
58
Dude, that's bananas.
million dollars.
And that doesn't even include the rights, dude.
That doesn't include the rights, which was over $1 billion, but what all together was over $1 billion. But the production budget, just the pure production budget on the series, is more than double of what the most expensive television show
And
in
there's
history
only,
was.
what, 8 episodes in the first season?
8 episodes, which breaks it down to about $58 million per episode. But it's not the money that they're spending on it, although that's encouraging. I mean, look, they always say, put your money where your mouth is. Amazon is clearly saying, we are dead effing serious about this Lord of the Rings show because we're putting all the money. We're putting all the money into this thing, and we believe in it. Then they did that first little teaser a little while ago. That about 2 years ago, they put out that little teaser of all the people who work behind the scenes on it, which got my blood flowing. I was really excited about it. Anyway, now we got a full release date, but also we got some character posters, but they did it a little bit differently. Instead of showing us the faces, they show us the hands of the characters. So I have no idea who or what we're looking at. I mean,
They don't know who's playing those parts yet.
no idea.
They don't know. It's been in production so long that
So they go through,
forgot.
we get a look at some of these. By the way, September 2nd, we are only 7 months away from this show coming out. We get a look at some of these things. There's a hand with no rings on it, which is kind of interesting. There's a couple with no rings. This one's got to be Elven, right? Doesn't that one have to be like Elven when you look at the clothes? The hands don't look quite fair enough, but I'm thinking Elven. That might be a wizard.
all this stuff looks too new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
It
this
looks too new,
great.
man. Where's the Weta aging on this stuff?
That's also got to be Elven, right? That's Elven armor.
That would be Elvin, I would believe.
And that's definitely an Elven sword,
Yeah.
I believe. Then, yeah, you're
Bunch of
learning.
hands, baby. Let's look at their hands.
Let's look at their hands. Again, no ring on that one, but maybe a ranger of some sorts. I don't know. The sword work looks amazing too. The stuff we're the swords and the stabs look great. Well, this is clearly someone from Rohan.
Rohan. Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, I love Rohan.
Well,
I
Who
love
sings
me
that song? Put a ring on it.
Beyonce?
Beyonce?
The Beyonce song.
Yeah,
They
put
should
a
have
ring on
Beyonce just do a cover version of that of her own
version of
song.
her
Yeah,
An Elven version of it.
singing Cinderin.
And then obviously, I don't know if we got Jack and the Beanstalk going on here. There's gonna be a little bit of that in the show. Again, they put out a lot. These are a lot of characters, and it just keeps going. I think I'm very excited. Look at how many they have.
More Rohan. We got a simple Muna.
Yep.
They should have got a taller cameraman.
They should.
It's way too low, man. Come on, let's see their faces.
Well, it was clearly a Hobbit.
All right.
It was a Hobbit.
It was a
taking
Hobbit. They got
photos.
to take it. But again, there's more. These, they really are putting out. And then I wonder what that one is.
That one's probably the best one right there.
I wonder what that one is. September 2nd. So look, it's again, we're not seeing faces, we're not seeing the full characters, but just the fact that they're now just starting to roll out the stuff. Again, you mentioned it already, Rob, the tangibilization.
Tangibilization.
I love all
Hey, those are
this.
nothing like the new Marvelous Mrs. Maisel poster, but I'll allow them. Come on now.
You know, I got to ask, because there's only one person in this room who literally has a pet named after a Lord of the Rings character.
Gimli's son of Gloin.
Is the name of one of your dogs.
He's the best boy.
You've seen these. You're obviously excited for the show. What stands out to you about these images?
I am so hyped. The two folks from Rohan is really
Yeah.
what stood out to me, because the other things, like I'm not as great at the iconography. I'm no Stephen Colbert. I'm so excited to watch him break down these posters because he's such a Lord of the Rings nerd. But this just gets me even more excited. This is a show too that I'm planning on watching long distance with my best friend. She loves the Lord of the Rings as much as me. She has a Simble Muna tattoo she's designed for somebody. Like, I'm just so hyped to watch this and geek out to this.
Robin, what stands out to you as you look at these images? You mentioned they kind of look new to you.
Well, yeah, they look too. You know what? They look. This is going to seem weird. They look a little TV and not enough feature film for me. And I thought with all the money that they're spending, they just look like it's a fashion shoot.
Right.
I want to see blood. Where's the blood and dirt and sweat on the? But I get it. I thought it was a cool way to start promoting this series, get people excited. I hope that means, when they drop posters, sometimes that means they're going to drop an extended trailer, perhaps. I don't know. It would be nice if they did. But I'm excited. I mean, like you, John, I think this TV show is either going to be amazing. Can you imagine if it's just kind of like, it was all right? I mean, this is either going to be a spectacular triumph or it's not going to be that. I just can't imagine. It's still a TV show. Like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, this TV show, each episode costs more than many movies. I mean, Star Wars cost what, $9 million when it was made back in the 70s? And now we're getting a show that is basically 10 Star Wars.
Yeah.
If you go back to that original budget. This show better, like, I want to grow wings or get superpowers after each episode, because that's how much I feel this show should give to all of us.
You know, it's funny too, because a lot of people will say, well, they make their movies now or they make the TV shows with movie budgets now. And it's like, no, they don't.
No.
Not even close. This is.
Yeah. Y'all see those trick arrows in Hawkeye? No, that's not a movie budget.
Yeah, no, especially even if those numbers are correct and each episode is like a $25 million thing, right? Okay, so that means if you put about 3 of these episodes, because they'll range anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes, sometimes 50 minutes. Okay, put together 3 episodes, $75 million budget. Okay, that's great for an indie film or a mid-level budget movie. But if you're talking actual Marvel movies, which run $175 million to 200 and something million dollars, the TV budgets don't come close. So please stop with this. They're making the shows now with movie budgets. There's only one that does. And that's Lord of the Rings. Now, whether or not we'll see that,
Right.
that's going to be another question.
I mean, it's still going to be an hour-long show. You know, what are they going to give to us in that hour-long? I don't know.
I cannot wait, though.
But I know
I
I think it's going to be great, but I just can't imagine. If my life isn't changed after every episode, I'm going to be disappointed.
All right, guys. Question is for you. You had a chance to see these posters September 2nd. September 2nd, these things come out. Are you excited for it or you're not? Remember, we're still 7 months out. This is just meant to be little tastes. 7 months out. We're going to get the real marketing as we get much closer, but still, I'm excited to see it. Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move into our main topics here today, shall we? And how do we select our main topics here on the John Campea Show? Well, it's really rather simple. You guys come up with them. See, whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic here on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Chris, what is our first main topic today?
First topic is coming from Jared Smith. Hello, John and crew. Love the work you guys do. Thank you. So the first 3 episodes of Pam and Tommy released on Hulu, and I know you've had interest due to Sebastian Stan and Lily James.
Lily James.
I'm curious to know if you've seen the episodes yet and what your thoughts on the show are so far. Thanks. And as always, bring on the filthy.
All right. Thanks a lot for saying that in, Jared. And yes, we've had this. Look, we talked about the Pam and Tommy Lee show last week. There was some controversy about whether or not they should be doing these things. And, you know, I believe you should be telling these stories. These are stories that are about and happened in public and stuff like that. And I get it. So that debate aside, which we're not going to revisit again, I was fascinated when they mentioned it, because at first I was just like, we're going to tell the story about a sex tape? I mean, who cares? And then the more we thought about it, when we saw the first teaser for it, yeah, and we saw the first trailer for it, I remember thinking, oh, looks like they're actually going much deeper than that.
Right.
And I decided last night, Ann and I, because it dropped yesterday, and Ann and I decided we're going to sit down and watch it. And there's some really good reactions, some lukewarm reaction. I'm going to tell you what, I thought this show is great.
Wow.
I honestly think it's great. And it is not the show that I thought it was going to be. Because, listen, we get to the end of episode 3, and they're just really starting to get into the sex tape.
Right.
Like everything else in those 3 episodes is really about laying this incredible context. A lot of stuff I never knew. And it's so funny because, like, the first episode is just all about Seth Rogen's character. The guy who ultimately gets the sex tape, right? It's really focuses completely on him. And then as I'm watching this and his interactions with Tommy Lee and stuff like that, I'm like, I'm watching it and I'm like, if this was just a movie and not real life, I'd be like, you get that sex tape and you release that sex tape to the public. Because like, you're like, oh my God, this guy has been wronged. Like very, very wronged. And you're like cheering for him. I found myself cheering for him to get that sex tape and release it and humiliate those people and blah, blah. And then the second episode completely changes direction. And it all just focuses on Pam and Tommy. And it goes back in time a little bit to them first meeting. And then it tells everything kind of from their point of view. And then all of a sudden, like, no, don't let this sex tape come out. Don't let this happen. And then it moves into the third episode, which kind of looks at the story from another different point of view. And as it's going through, I just found myself riveted. I found myself really, really enjoying this. and buying into it a lot. And I'll tell you one of the other things about this show that they've done that I really, really appreciate and like. It reminds us, because everybody will say they know this, but nobody seems to actually grasp it. Life is very rarely black and white. And one of the things that I loved about this, and I'm not going to go into the specifics of the interactions between Seth Rogen's character and Sebastian Stan as Tommy Lee, but you see Tommy Lee from one guy's perspective, from the Seth Rogen's character's perspective, and all you think of is, what an absolute asshole that Tommy, like what an absolute insufferable asshole that guy is. But then you move into episode 2, and now you're looking at Tommy Lee through Pamela Anderson's eyes. And while you still think this is not a highly intelligent individual, you're like, I could see why she fell in love with him. Right? Because now you're seeing him, because he's a little bit different with a different person. And he allows a certain part of himself to be seen to her, and the way she perceives him, you're like, man, I could totally see why she would love him and why she adores him. I get it. Yeah. He's not terribly bright, but I mean, I can see why she loves him. And I like the fact that within the first 2 episodes of this show, it forces, because we as an audience, we want to just label everything, right? We want to label, that guy's an asshole, that guy's a great guy, that guy's greedy, that guy is generous, that guy, like we're just very comfortable with slapping one label on people and go. But we are multi-dimensional beings. And one of the things that I really appreciated was this show could have just gone, oh yeah, Tommy Lee, rock star asshole. And they could have just gone with that.
Right.
And they introduce us to that, but then they also show there's another side too. And I really appreciate it, because I found as these 3 episodes progressed, I was like, this is a great look at humanity and at us as people, the complexities of who and what we are and what matters to us. And Pamela Anderson comes across as very, very surface level, also not terribly bright. But then at another time, they reveal like a much emotional, deeper element to her, and a depth of what her background put her in and where she is as an individual. And I just got it. And there is also look, I've never thought I'd see a show where a guy on Hulu would have a fully explicit, full frontal scene in a conversation with his own dick. I never thought I'd see that, but there's a scene that's like 5 minutes long of Sebastian Stan talking to his dick. Full frontal, full view, the whole thing. A lot more nudity in this show than I thought there would be. A lot more nudity.
Is his dick articulate?
Yes. And
smarter than he is?
Kind of, yes. But also I'll say, like, Lily James, I sometimes joke about season 1 of The Witcher about, why am I forgetting the name of the character? Yennefer. That Yennefer, she loves being naked. Lily James naked a lot in the show. Lily James and Sebastian Stan are both naked a lot in the show. But you know what? You get swept up in this ride. And I'm going to tell you, for me, I am fascinated by the show. I'm really loving it. It's making me appreciate the narrative of what brought that whole cultural phenomenon into being. It's making me appreciate Tommy Lee more. It's making me appreciate Pamela Anderson more. And it's making me appreciate how people negatively would feel about them, but positively. And I don't know. I'm just telling you, this thing has given a depth to this whole story that I didn't think was possible. So I'm really enjoying it a lot.
It's now they've only dropped 3 episodes.
3 episodes at first. Yeah.
Okay. And then, you know, I was listening to them talking. They were doing an interview. I don't know who with, but Lily James said she was like in the makeup chair for 3 hours to do the transformation on her face. She looks just like Pam Anderson. Do you feel that when you're watching the show?
It's uncanny. Like when you're looking at, look, they also did a very good job with Sebastian Stan being Tommy. They did. But I still, when I look at him, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm looking at Sebastian Stan playing Tommy Lee.
Right.
I am telling you, there are scenes where I caught myself wondering, did they use actual period footage of Pamela Anderson here? Or is that, no, once again, that's Lily James. Like, it is so uncanny. And it's not just the look. It is the mannerisms. Lily James has just brought this character from the early 1990s and like time traveled her to today. And I'm flabbergasted. And by the way, it's not just face makeup they did. They gave her boob prosthetics. And because they even wanted her boobs to look just like Pamela Anderson.
Of course.
But that's part of it. Like every time you're looking at her, you're hearing her articulation, you're seeing her mannerisms, you're seeing her physically. It's like, I'm not looking at somebody playing Pamela Anderson. I'm looking at Pamela Anderson. It's crazy what they were able to do. So, I mean, yeah, I like to not. Now, listen, I wanted to ask you, Chris, like, where do you have an anticipation for this show? Like, where is it at? Like, have you been looking forward to it? What is interesting to you about it? Do you want to see it? Do you not? Where are you at with it?
I'm still intrigued. And there have been other reports, we won't get into it too much, of how they've tried to reach out to Pamela and everything like that. So, it is, again, this isn't a black and white issue. We're not sure how everything shook down in pre and post production. The thing I'm most excited about, though, now, honestly, is Jason Mantzoukas voicing a penis. I mean, I love that guy. And that does get me a little more interested in seeing this, to just see how that whole scene shakes out. But I'm really impressed too, like y'all are talking about the transformation thing.
Shakes out. Sorry, maybe you'd have to have seen the episode.
No.
Oh no!
The whole scene shakes
no.
out. Okay. I see what you did there.
Oh no, I didn't mean to. But I am really intrigued though to see the transformative properties that happen here. Like the makeup artists here truly are wizards, and everything I've seen too, it looks like the two of these actors really, really inhabit these people really, really beautifully.
And I'll tell you what else. Like, as ridiculous and stupid as their whole relationship was, because you realize, if I interpret it right, they met and were engaged 5 days later. Like, I've known people. No, I'm not kidding. I have literally known
I think they got married 4 days later or something.
Or like within the week or something like that. But as stupid, as dumb as a decision that two people like that make based on that, I will tell you what, when these two were on camera together, you felt the electricity between them. You really did. Like, you felt the electricity between Sebastian Stan and Lily Jane, the way they brought that to life in this kinetic, raw, hedonistic kind of energy that they had. And again, like I said, then they would have these tender moments where you're like, okay, this Tommy Lee total asshole in one episode, but man, for what he just said to her, what he just did for her, of course she's in love with him. Like, I just love the complexity of it and the way they were brave enough to kind of say, no, we're not just going to paint this with one brush. We're not just going to look this from a one-dimensional point of view. We're going to look at these as people and the totality that encapsulates, and I really enjoyed it. Again, not my favorite show of the year so far, but far better than I thought it would be. Anyway, guys, what do you think? Have you guys had a chance to check out Pam and Tommy yet? If not, I actually recommend it. I think you should give it a shot. It's much deeper than I thought it would be. If you have seen it, what are your thoughts on it? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 2, shall we? Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This one comes from Steve Calderon. I was curious, but still wanted to see Channing Tatum in Gambit before the movie was canceled. Tatum recently told Variety he was so traumatized not playing Gambit that he didn't watch any Marvel movies. He also said he would still love to play the character. If you're Kevin Feige, would you give him the chance to play Gambit in an X-Men movie or Disney Plus show?
All right, thanks a lot for writing that in, Steve. Look, I'm going to tell you what, unpopular opinion. When they announced that Channing Tatum was going to play Gambit, I loved it. And it was very reminiscent again of when they announced Ben Affleck was Batman and everybody laughed up. I said, I love this. And when they announced, again with Batman, when they announced Robert Pattinson, I said, this is going to be great. But everybody was laughing at it. And I remember when they announced that Channing Tatum was going to play Gambit, everybody laughed. And again, there was a long period of time that I believed and said on my various movie blogs and shows and podcasts that Channing Tatum was the worst actor in Hollywood getting regular work. You
don't like Magic Mike?
Now hold on a second.
Come on, man.
There was a period of time that I really felt that this Channing Tatum dude was absolutely the worst actor in Hollywood that was getting regular, consistent work. But this dude dedicated himself to being a true actor. And he worked and he worked and he trained and he trained and he got instruction and he never let up. And eventually you start to see the evolution of him as an actor. and getting better and better to the point now that I don't just think he's decent. I get excited to see Channing Tatum in movies now. I actually think he's really good. I think he's come a long way. And when they announced him as Gambit, I thought, you know what? This works on several levels. He's evolved as an actor. He's got the presence of it. Like I look at him, I think this guy could play that. His acting chops have gotten up to a level, and he can absolutely bring the physicality. When you look at his dance background, this dude can bring the physicality to this role, and I think he would be a great Gambit. Now, a lot of people disagreed, and that's fine. But they were moving ahead with it. Fox was going to do it. They were like, they had already hired cast. They had rented production offices. They had done everything. And then Disney took over Fox, and it went away. This comes to us from folks over at Coming Soon, right the following. They would call him flamboyant. This is Channing Tatum speaking. They would call him flamboyant in his description, Tatum said. I wouldn't. He was just the coolest person. He could pull anything off. Most superheroes, their outfits are utilitarian. Batman's got his belt. Gambit's like, nah, this shit's just fly, bro. This just walked down the Paris runway last year. He's just wearing the stuff that's so dope because he loves fashion. Reed Carolyn also spoke on the film, telling Variety that the movie itself was on the 1 yard line, and that the duo had even set up production offices, cast the film, and was prepared to begin shooting in New Orleans. They were actually going to shoot right in New Orleans, which is perfect for that setting. Unfortunately for them, the chance of bringing Gambit to the big screen all but fell apart after Disney merged with Fox, a move that Tatum says left him traumatized and unable to watch any recent Marvel films. Once Gambit went away, I was so traumatized, Tatum said. I shut off my Marvel machine. I haven't been able to see any of the movies. I loved that character. It was just too sad. It was like losing a friend because I was so ready to play him. That again comes to us from the folks at Coming Soon, quoting Channing Tatum. Here's the thing. He wasn't just an actor cast in the role. He was the creative engine behind it. He was the one bringing everybody together. They had spent years putting this together. They got the script where they wanted it. They thought they had been given the green light. He even showed up on the panels at Comic-Con with the Fox, cast and everything. They were ready to move forward with this, and then it went away. Do I blame Disney for that? Absolutely not. Disney has their plan. They have their vision, they have their universe, and they are going to do, and Kevin Feige is going to do what is best for his plan. And that didn't include Gambit, at least not at the time, and it didn't include Channing Tatum. I don't blame Kevin Feige. Do I lament for Channing Tatum? I do. And listen, he's not alone. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of many, many projects that people have worked years on every year and feel like they're going to get it made, and then it's all pulled away from them every year. This is not a rare case. This happens a lot. Maybe not on the scale of a comic book movie, but it happens all the time. But still, I lament for him for that and for the fact that I wanted to see him as Gambit. I did. I still, to this day, think he would be great. Now, obviously, when they took over Fox, Gambit, for those of you who do not know, is a mutant. And Kevin Feige said, I am 5 years away from being ready to bring in mutants. Nobody believed him. They thought, no, mutants are going to show up in the next... No, they never did. But he said, it's 5 years away. I got to believe somewhere in my heart of hearts that maybe there's a chance we could see Channing Tatum, throwing them playing cards around, doing what he does, speaking in that New Orleans kind of draw. I mean, I got to believe, I hope he does. I'll just say that. I hope he does. Again, story is served by the characters, and characters are served by the actors. You don't go, well, Channing Tatum deserves to play Gambit. Let's make a Gambit movie. That's ass backwards thinking. It's not should be done. But I'm just saying I hope that circumstances align, that maybe someday we do get to see it, because I would like to. And I'll say there's maybe like a 3% chance it does. Rob, you followed this whole drama as it unfolded with it. I remember us talking about stuff like this even back in the Heroes days. Yeah. With this story. Channing Tatum is still now just kind of opening up and revealing. Like it devastated him. He was devastated. What do you think about this?
When you go down the road to get a movie made and you think it's happened to me too. I thought I was making a film, and 2 days before principal photography, it fell apart. You've done so much prep work and thought about it, and there's so much work that goes into a movie before you even get to shoot it. It's heartbreaking because it's not just the work that's involved, it's your mindset and what it does. You in your mind, you have to have seen yourself making a project even before you make it. And it's heartbreaking, man. And you never get over it. You never get over it. But you know what we did get, John? My beloved Jupiter Ascending. So there is a silver lining to every dark cloud. And I love Jupiter Ascending. It's a Disney princess movie. And if you look at it that way, you'll like it more.
I got to ask, are you being serious? Did you actually like Jupiter Ascending?
Dude, I love Jupiter Ascending.
Oh my God.
Love it, love it. What's not to love where he plays a gravity, he's got gravity boots, skates on, and he flies through the skies of Chicago fighting aliens. And
Eddie Raymond. Eddie Raymond's not to love.
oh man, I'm telling you.
I don't know. I never thought we would find a film that we would disagree more over than Hook, but I think we found it. That is like one of the worst cinematic films in history.
It's a Disney princess movie, and it's beautiful to look at.
That's true.
I'm not going to take that away from you. I agree. It's visually, it's beautiful.
It's very pretty.
But what do you think? Like, you see this whole stuff here, Chris, with Channing Tatum, and like, were you ever looking forward, or did you ever think it was a good idea to have him in this? And what do you think about his comments today?
I did think it was a good idea. Okay, listen, say what you want about this character, but there is a little bit of like sleazy sexiness to Gambit. Like, if y'all grew up watching that 90s cartoon show, you know that was there.
Yeah.
Gambit got down. Gambit effed, okay? And Channing Tatum, I think, can lean into that part of the role really, really well. He also is going to suspend his disbelief to be able to be somebody who's using cards with kinetic energy. Like, he'll commit to that. Like, he's committed to dancing and doing all kinds, being a werewolf with space boots, you know?
That's right.
He does
Who wants to get his wings back?
Yeah, he commits to this. I mean, Taylor Kitsch was fine in Origins. That was one of the few decent things in there. But I think Channing Tatum would have done a lovely job. And it is, for anyone, too, who's hearing his comments thinking he's being over dramatic or being, sophomoric about that reaction of being traumatized and stuff. I get it. When you don't get a role that you've fallen in love with, it's hard when you've been cut out of projects, which is what happens so much, y'all. Finished products, it's a miracle they happen. So much goes into making a movie. I can't tell you how many times something I've auditioned for and landed has ended up not going into production. Or we make it through production and then the budget gets cut and then we're not in it. Or we get all the way to the end and we're at a premiere and we go, oh, I'm not in this. Like, that happens. That happens. Logan and I were in a music video where we like leads in the music video and we watched it and they cut out every actor except for the singers. And we were like, what is this? What's happening? It just happens. So it's really hard to not separate yourself from the work. I know it is show business, not show friends. We say that a lot. That's Rob's wonderful phrase here that I've utilized so much in my own life. But man, it's hard to separate yourself.
That's Bob Sugar from Jerry Maguire.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I wish it was original. I can't take.
I've always been like, that's an
no,
that's
that's Cameron Crowe.
Oh, shoot.
But
Well,
I mean,
still.
then take that and amplify it by, it's not just because Aaron Cummings, who's had a lot of roles in a lot of big TV shows, where that's Blacklist, Nip Tuck, Mad Men, The Flash, Rookie. I mean, on and on and on, right? But that also means there were roles she didn't get. And I remember, she's always kind of like gets excited about a role that looks like she might get and you don't get. But now compound that with it being not a role you almost got, but a project you've been spearheading for almost 20 months.
Yep.
That you've been pouring yourself, making every phone call, calling in every favor you have, bringing in every creative friend you have, making every contact and connection you have, and pouring yourself for like 20 months into it, and you're building it, and you think this thing is happening, and now you're moving forward. This is going to be your baby. And then after almost 2 years of work, a year and a half of work, it's gone.
Yeah.
By something that isn't even remotely connected to you. Like, it had nothing to do with him. It was just, the company that was going to do it just got bought. And the company that bought it doesn't want to do it. It had nothing to do with it. It wasn't even that you dropped the ball. It was that circumstance. Shit, I can't even imagine it.
Yeah.
That must have been horrible. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about all this? Do you feel bad for Channing Tatum? Talking about that, it still kind of scars him. It still devastated him. Or did you ever want to see Channing Tatum as Gambit? A lot of people didn't, and maybe you didn't. I kind of did. Whatever you guys are thinking about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.
Especially about Jupiter Ascending.
We don't talk about Jupiter Ascending like ever. Anyway, no, honestly, guys. Now, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 3 here, shall we? Chris, what is our third main topic today?
Third topic is from Gary Altright. Hi, John. First time, long time. I've got to thank you for turning me on to John Wick films years ago. They're now some of my favorite action movies ever, and I loved Part 3 and Halle Berry's Sophia character. I read that she may be getting her own spin-off movie. Do you think that could work, and would you be excited for it?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Gary. And yeah, obviously, I think all of us around here are big fans of the John Wick franchise. That is a little franchise everybody forgets now. It's kind of like the Robert Downey Jr. situation. Everybody forgets that before Iron Man happened, Robert Downey Jr.'s career was not much, right? He was starting to get little projects here and there and doing some good stuff and whatever, but he had already 2 strikes. He kind of fallen out of favor with Hollywood once, kind of started coming back with Ally McBeal. Everybody was loving him and Ally McBeal. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Ally McBeal fired him again because the drug situation again, all that kind of stuff, lost his career again. And then Jon Favreau says, you know what, I think this guy should be our Iron Man. And Disney was like, hell no. But then he convinced them. They show himself and then boom. But everybody forgets that Robert Downey Jr. wasn't the big major movie star in the world for a long time. And I think a lot of people forget that John Wick was kind of a resuscitation for Keanu Reeves. Because Keanu Reeves was just putting out a lot of movies that nobody's really paying attention to. The John Wick movie gets advertised. It's a Keanu Reeves movie. It's going to be whatever. But then it comes out and it's like, oh my God. And all of a sudden the Keanu-sance began. And the world has been Keanu Reeves' oyster ever since.
And that first movie's really good.
Oh, it's great.
And with the world that it sets up, and I mean, it's really good. And he was great in it.
And I thought the first one was better than the third one. Sorry,
Yeah.
so let me rephrase. I thought the first one was better than the second one. I still like the second one very much. But then the third one came out. And I actually think the third one is my favorite. And one of the reasons for that is Halle Berry's character, who I thought they brought her in, and her dogs. You guys know me and Ray are dog guys. But they brought in her dogs as well. And I loved the character. I thought she was great. And I have been looking forward to seeing, because, you know, I love the Continental, the whole mythology of the Continental hotels, and the fact that she was the manager of another country's Continental. I thought that was great. I thought the action sequences were great. I've been looking forward to her coming back. So Halle Berry recently talked about her status with John Wick 4 and the fact that she may be getting a spin-off movie of her own. And I'll tell you right now, I'm interested in it. This comes to us from the folks over at Variety who write the following. Sophia is not in the next John Wick movie. So there's the status on that, says Halle Berry. Although the character might be getting her own spin-off film. There could possibly be a Sophia, her own movie. So she might not be in John Wick, but she might be doing her own thingy, Barry added, that starring in her own John Wick spin-off movie would be putting some ointment on a little sore, alluding to her James Bond spin-off movie that never happened. Barry played Bond girl Jinx opposite Pierce Brosnan in 2002's Die Another Day. Bond producers Barbara Broccoli wanted to give Barry's Jinx her own movie, but the studio balked at the intended $80 million budget and the project was killed. It was very disappointing, Barry told Variety in September of 2020 about losing her Bond spin-off movie. It was ahead of its time. Nobody was ready to sink that kind of money into a black female action star. They just weren't sure of its value. That's where we were then. All right, that comes to us once again from Variety. So listen, the idea of her getting now her own spin-off movie is great, but I'll tell you what, I am intrigued. The very fact that she's connected to the world of the Continental, the fact that she is shown she can do action, great. The fact that she has the 2 dogs. Now, would I be more excited to see
And
John
that she survives a moonfall.
and the moon falls and she survives it? Would I be more interested in John Wick 4 or a Sophia spin-off movie? I'm more interested in John Wick 4.
Yeah.
But we live in a world where we don't have to have either or. We can have both and. And listen, I'll tell you what, I'm down for it. But I'll tell you, Rob, I don't think it's going to happen. I like, the reality is the John Wick films don't generate massive blockbuster money.
No.
They never have. They've been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But I don't know that they pull in the type of money that will make a studio go, yeah, we can make a spin-off. Now, they're going to try something with television with the Continental, and there's some stuff about the ballerina. But I don't know. I just don't know that I see this one happening. But if it does, I'm down for it. How do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, you know, I like that subgenre. Like, I liked Atomic Blonde. I like La Femme Nikita.
Oh, I love Atomic Blonde.
You know, I love female assassin Lucy, or Hannah, whatever, all these Sophia, whatever you want to call it. I am there for those kinds of movies. So I could see this working. I've always loved Halle Berry as a performer. Will they make this movie? I don't know. People might look at the 355 and go, well, there's a group of female assassins that didn't do that well. I mean, I would love to see that movie, especially made by the same team that are making the John Wick films. So I think it could be good. I'm certainly there for it. I think any fan of the series would step up and watch it. But it better be not like the Jeremy Renner Bourne movie.
Yeah, well, which I didn't hate.
I didn't hate it, but it was like, I get what you're trying to do, but it just seemed kind of odd. The problem is I wouldn't want to see a movie like that where you're thinking to yourself, you know what would have made this movie much better? John Wick.
Yeah, that's true. That could work against it as well. Like on the surface, you think the John Wick connection could work for it, but you're right. It could also be something that works against it.
But it could be good. I really enjoy her as a performer. I'm sorry they never made a Jinx movie. She was probably the best thing about Die Another Day.
Yeah. Have they ever done you'll be the best one to know this. Have they ever done a Bond spin-off movie?
No.
That would have been
talked
interesting.
about doing Bond spin-offs, but they never have.
I would love that. Jinx or Felix. I would watch any of those.
Oh, yeah, I really do like the Felix here. Anyway, what about you? Do you think, number one, would you be interested in a Sophia spin-off movie, and do you think it would happen?
I'd watch it. And I just have to say, in the chat here, we have a lot of people saying Catwoman ruined her chances of getting her own movie. Y'all,
No, nobody blames her for Catwoman.
On, all right? No one blames her for Catwoman. And so many people have made bad movies and still made other movies. It's amazing, right, that we can do that. This is not a causation equals this kind of situation here. I would watch these films. I think she's a really great character. I think she's a really great actress. And, just like we talked about for Moonfall, like she tries. She really, really tries to deliver on scripts that aren't that great sometimes.
With everything that's wrong with Moonfall, and there's a lot.
She and Patrick Wilson.
The actors in it not giving their best and doing what they could with the material they were given was not one of the problems.
No.
They committed.
All three of the leads.
Patrick Wilson has a place reserved for him in heaven.
Yeah.
For his performance.
And Halle Berry, I mean, she tried her best. Like, I'm sorry. When there's a line, one of the worst lines I've ever heard in a movie that just made me want to slam my head into the seat in front of me, when the NASA director is, he turns to her because she's like the assistant NASA director. The NASA director turns to Halle Berry and says, "Don't forget you work for me." And the script calls for her to say, "No, I work for the American people." I'm like, who wrote that? And
It's
then
so cheesy.
and she did it. She did it.
Where instead of being like, no, she gives her best, where she's like, no.
She did the best she could. She goes, "I'll take that turd and I'll try to polish it into a diamond if I can." She did the best she could. I mean, everybody forgets too. She's an Academy Award winning actress for a reason. By the way, it was still one of the greatest moments in Oscar history when Adrian Brody and her on the Oscar stage. Remember, they were doing, so he grabs Halle Berry, gives her the big dip and kiss and stuff like that. I mean, that's one of the greatest Oscar moments ever. And anyway, I digress. Listen, I'll say this. I am down for this movie. I would like to see it.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think it'd be very interesting, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I don't know. Hopefully I'm wrong.
You never know, because Moonfall is made by Lionsgate, right? Right, and Lionsgate is John Wick, right?
It's distributed by Lionsgate.
So it's in the Lionsgate family.
I'm
Which
telling
John
you.
Wick is.
Don't make it happen.
They'll be like,
Lionsgate is crazy.
and Lionsgate's going to go to Halle Berry. You owe us.
Oh yeah.
We're going to make this movie, but you're not going to get paid.
Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Would you be down for a Sophia spinoff film from John Wick? Actually, I think there's a lot of spinoff potential from John Wick. I would be. Maybe you wouldn't be. Do you even think it's going to happen or that it could? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move into main topic number 4. And I'm going to warn you guys right now, for those of you who are watching Peacemaker but have not watched last night's episode of Peacemaker, we're going to talk about Peacemaker, and we are going to talk about it openly, so there might be some spoilers involved here. It's a TV show, but if you want to avoid this part of the discussion, just go ahead and mute your computer and then wait until you see the next topic pop up, and then you can unmute your computer. But I'm just giving you a heads up warning on that right now. So there's your warning. So Chris, with that warning being given, what is our next main topic today?
This is from Thomas Madden. Peacemaker just keeps getting better and better. Yes, it does. There's not a weak character on the roster. It's hilarious, but seems real all at the same time. Can't wait for tonight's episode and hear your thoughts on it.
Well, obviously, when he says tonight's episode, obviously he wrote that in yesterday. And of course, last night was Peace. It's kind of good. You get back to back. Like Tuesday nights for us is Book of Boba Fett night. Then Wednesday night is Peacemaker night, which is and then Thursday is game day for Jackass. So it's been a good week for me. I'm looking forward to seeing Jackass. So anyway, last night the Peacemaker comes out, the new episode of Peacemaker, and I'm going to tell you what, the jaded, bitter, disappointed fanboy in me who's just always waiting for the second shoe to drop. I've been waiting for the Peacemaker episode that's going to make it jump the shark. The Peacemaker episode that's going to tell us, that's right, this is just a low budget Warner Brothers whatever thing. I've been waiting for it. I've been loving the show. I absolutely love this show. I think it's the best thing DC's ever put on television. But every time I start an episode, I'm wondering if this is the episode.
Well,
that's going to be
last
when it
night,
jumps the shark.
James Gunn came back to write and direct again.
Yeah, I think he wrote all of them. But so there's one or two he didn't direct, and even those ones were great. So he actually wrote and directed this one again as well. So I'm like, okay, we'll see where it goes. And damn it, Rob, this show will not let go. It continues to be awesome. And we heard before the episode came out that James Gunn said that this was going to be the wildest episode yet. I'm like, dude, you had your guys fight an alien-infested gorilla and beat him with a chainsaw through his back, cutting through his body. How are you going to get more wild than that? But they did, Rob. They made it. Last night's episode of Peacemaker was the wildest one yet. And by the way, if I didn't already love Eagly, it's like when Eagly starts killing fools. I'm like, first of all, that one shot at first was grotesque. When Eagly knocks the guy down and starts pecking his eyeballs out, I'm like, oh my God, that poor guy.
Well, and shout out to D. Bradley Baker, who's voicing an eagle and making all these eagle noises, doing all that. Like, it's amazing.
So Eagly is kicking ass. Again, I'm just falling in love more and more with the dynamic between Vigilante and Peacemaker. I just love that character even more. It's like, there's this one scene where he's like, what do you think, Vigilante and me are idiots? And it cuts to Vigilante. Hey guys, which one's Eagly and which one's me? I'm like, oh my God, this is so unbelievable. But then the alien infestation.
I never thought I'd ever see alien butterflies invade the Earth. Or
all
invade
the
the town,
little
the
ships
room.
come out and also, but we've seen like, an alien go into somebody's ear. James Gunn decided to go really graphic.
Oh yeah.
Because when the aliens are going into the mouths, I'm thinking, okay, it's going to crawl down and blood splattering and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, this is kind of uncomfortable, but wild. And then they invade the police station and they start like,
That was awesome.
It was so good.
That was awesome.
And then John Cena at the end. You know what? If I had read this in a script, I would have said cut this out. It's just going to take up screen time. Is the scene where John Cena is just sitting down at the end, and was it Home Sweet Home? Is that what he's playing?
Yeah.
Motley Crue.
Yeah.
He sits down at the piano and he starts playing the piece. And if I had read that in the script and said, okay, a minute and a half of just John Cena sitting there playing the piano, I said, no, that's going to drag. Take that. But I'm watching it and you felt every emotion. You knew they didn't show you flashbacks, but as he's playing the piano and you just see his face, in your own mind, you can see what memories are going through his mind, the way they set that all up. And I was expecting White Dragon to bust through the wall at the end of him playing the piano. Yeah. That didn't happen. That's coming. By the way, White Dragon getting his freaking stuff all on. It's like, what's going on? Oh my God, this show gets better and better. The Myrn stuff. By the way, the title of this week's episode, Myrn After Reading. So good. Anyway, Chris, you watched the episode last night. What was your thoughts of Peacemaker episode 6, Myrn After Reading?
I loved this so much. We could just see Gunn going back to those trauma roots too.
Yeah.
Like how graphic that was just chef's kiss. Oh, it was so good. And we have just so much time where there's no dialogue in this episode too, from that invasion, which starts off kind of beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It just looks like fireflies coming in, and then you see the threat, and then you see them go to the police station. And then we cut to John Cena, y'all, playing the piano.
with his big meaty sausage hands.
Exactly. How are you going to double that? And he actually plays piano. He's done some wonderful covers online. And you just go from this kind of epic, violent moment to this beautiful, well-acted bit from Cena. I could not have loved this more.
Yeah, I dug it a lot. Rob, you had a chance. See, I mean, I just cannot believe what they've been able to pull off. And I admit it, before this show came out, I was a doubter. I saw and I love James Gunn deep. Like everybody knows, I'm a huge fan of James Gunn. But I saw the previews. It looked low budget to me. It looked, this doesn't. I can't believe how did last night's episode start?
Dude, I loved it. I mean, look, between Slither, the Suicide Squad, and this, James Gunn has a way with alien invasions. And I'm so there for it. I mean, it was. The thing is, this show is just so delightfully bonkers that from scene to scene, I really have no idea what's going to happen next on the show. I mean, you maybe plot wise you can guess, but it's the characters, it's the situations, it's what they say, it's how they act. It's so delightfully off the wall that you can't watch the show without a grin from ear to ear. It's just that enjoyable. I don't know where they're going to go though. How are they going to end this thing?
Well, there's still 2 episodes to go.
Oh no, I know, and I'm just like, the threat was raised to quite a dire level.
It's an apocalyptic level.
Yeah,
actually,
I mean, and I'm like, how do you? Maybe Starro will show up.
Well, listen, by the way, can I ask this quickly? You both y'all have seen Slither.
Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite James Gunn film. I that is one of the most underappreciated films ever made to me.
Which has there's a lot of Slither in this, especially even last night.
I agree, but here's my question: when they show the overhead shot of the farm where they think the cow is, was I the only one getting Slither vibes from that?
100%.
Right? I'm not saying James Gunn's crossing anything over here. I'm just like, ooh,
I need to watch that movie.
got that feeling from it. I don't know. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see Peacemaker burn after reading, which I loved? And by the way, there's still some iffy, like where's Judo Master? I guess he's still hooked up to the IV. When he was trying to say to him, when he was trying to say, what was he saying?
The butterflies aren't. It's what it starts off as.
You don't understand. The butterflies. It's like, well, what was Judo Master going to say?
Exactly. I wanted to ask you guys about this. Where are you sitting on the butterflies? Because obviously something hinky's going on. They don't seem like they're here to be nice to us. But then is Myrn lying because Judo Master was saying something? Like I do not know where this is going.
So I was watching that episode with the assumption Myrn is the bad alien. And all the other ones, because of what Judo Master said, the good ones. Mm-hmm. But then last night's episode happens.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I ain't so sure about that anymore, right? It's like, so I don't know. I've so much to find out. 2 more episodes to go. Question is for you guys. What did you think about last night's episode of Peacemaker? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Maybe the show hasn't been working for you. Maybe it's your greatest show ever. Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's do one more main topic here today, shall we? It's a little something that kind of broke this morning. Chris, what are we going to say is our last main topic here today?
Last one today comes from Michael D'Souza. Hi, John and crew. I hope you're doing well and staying safe. Huge news dropped today that Dakota Johnson has been cast as Madam Web in Sony's Madam Web movie.
Wait, what?
Rob, do you want to talk about this? What are your thoughts on this? Thanks and have a great day.
All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And this just broke this morning. Now, we've known for a long time that Sony has been very, very active and they're very, very serious about developing their Spider-Verse. That up until now has been without Spider-Man, per se, which that might be changing now with the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home. We may be seeing Tom Holland in the Sonyverse now, but a lot of question marks still regarding that. But regardless, they've been working very hard. They've given us 2 Venom movies, both of which I've really liked. We've got Morbius coming, which I'm very excited about. They've got Kraven the Hunter that they're already in development on. And they announced a while ago that they're doing Madam Web. which was interesting because if you know Madam Web in the comic books, you're thinking, really? You're going to focus a movie on that character?
How's that going to work?
How's that going to work exactly? Well, then they moved on from that because production has moved forward, or at least development has moved forward so far that they've actually got Dakota Johnson, who, by the way, was so freaking good in Peanut Butter Falcon. You can't tell how good somebody is or isn't by watching 50 Shades.
No.
I mean, look at Jamie Dornan. Like, then we saw him in Belfast. Like, holy crap, this guy's a legit actor. So never. But then when I saw her in Peanut Butter Falcon, I'm like, oh my God, this girl's amazing. And yes, she is the daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffin. So she's got good genetics. She's got the genetics there, right? She's going to play Madam Web, which raises a whole bunch of questions about how they're going to do Madam Web. We'll get to that in a second. This comes to us from Variety, who writes the following. Dakota Johnson is suiting up for the Sony universe of Marvel characters. Is that what Spunk. So anyway, or no, now it's Sunk. So instead of spunk, it's sunk or suck, whatever. The actor has been cast as Madam Web in the studio's next standalone superhero movie. It would mark Sony's first modern comic book adaptation to feature a female in the title role. Insiders close to the production stress that Johnson's deal is not closed, but confirm she is in talks to secure the role. Now, that's important to point out. It's not a 100% done deal yet. Then why we're talking about it. The reason why we still talk about it is because you have to understand, once it gets to the point where the studio and the actor are now in final negotiations, what that means is that the casting process is done. They've been through the casting process. They've brought in everybody that they've wanted to bring in to reads for the role. And they've gotten to the point now where the studio has said, yes, you're the person we want. And the actor has said, yes, this is a project I want to be in. That is when the final negotiations start. And 95% of the time, once they get to that part of the negotiations, it happens. So we're going to just work on the assumption here that it's done. Dakota Fanning is, I keep saying Dakota Fanning, that Dakota Johnson is going to be our Madam Web. And again, it brings up a lot of interesting questions because of the nature of the Madam Web character. Now, the Madam Web character is also intrinsically, she's a multiverse kind of character.
Yeah.
Right?
Old.
Yeah, and older. An older character who has to be on a life support system that basically looks like a giant web and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's safe to say every comic book movie takes some liberties. I think it's safe to say this one's going to take some liberties as well. Much needed. So.
I would think it would have to.
Well, Rob, give everybody a bit of background on Madam Web and how you think her attachment to this could influence this.
You know, they kind of call her in a way a Doctor Strange-esque character. And I don't know her actual origin. I don't know where she originated from.
It was in the 80s.
Yeah.
She originated in Spider-Man comics in the 80s.
I'm just trying to think of what was her actual origin. But
she was Cassandra Webb, who was married to a doctor who hooked her up to the system to help with her neuromuscular degenerative disorder.
Oh my God. I read that and I couldn't, I've read that before. I could never say it. Can you say it again?
Who hooked her up to her
the condition,
muscular neurological disorder?
Yeah, I can never say that because I started over it. Yeah,
no worries. But and she's a mutant who has precognitive abilities.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
She's technically an X-Man.
Yeah, she's not another character who has been bit by yet another radioactive
Exactly.
right. She's actually a mutant.
But it's not like she's not like Spider-Man.
She's not a Spider-Man character,
and that's why I found this casting. I love Dakota Johnson. I've loved her since I saw her on The Social Network. But this character, what are they going to do? Like maybe it's her origin story, but still, I mean, her powers are interesting. In a way, I always thought of her kind of like Oracle, in an Oracle-esque kind of a thing. But they're totally different characters, but different universes, obviously. But I don't know. Like I look at this and I'm very curious. What is this movie going to be about? How is it going to work? And how is it going to fit into the Spider-Verse the way they want it to fit in?
And that's a hard one to answer because right now we don't even know how Morbius is going to fit into all of it and then how Kraven is going to fit into all of it, let alone what Madam Web and how she's going to fit into all of it. A lot of questions still.
I mean, I can see a Kraven movie because of the kind of character he is, and Morbius is a vampire, so you can do something. But what is Madam Web going to do?
They're going to have to make, that's what I'm saying. They're going to have to make some adaptation here. Obviously, when you've got, let me bring her up again. When you got, this is the character. right? And
Oh,
you're
you're showing
casting.
I can't see you. You're showing a picture.
Oh yeah. When
Yeah.
this is Madam Web and you're bringing in Dakota Johnson to play it, you're clearly going with a slightly different approach.
Slightly.
Just like when you hire Hugh Jackman to play Wolverine, you're clearly going for a different physical approach than they have in the comic books. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with that. Chris, you see this. She's cast in this. Are you surprised by this? And what do you think they're going to do with it? And how do you think she'll do?
I'm super surprised by this because I keep thinking of Madam Web, as Joan Lee, as Steve Lee's wife, because that's who voiced her. And she's an older woman and she's got this prophetic ability, and her job usually is just to show up and be a catalyst towards events.
Right.
This is
Yes.
happening
Yep.
within the Spider-Verse. This is happening between our multiverses. Help me, Spider-Men. So I don't know what kind of story you would do with this. I'm intrigued. And I really like Dakota Johnson, but I don't think this would be my go-to for Sony's next move.
No.
Well, here's the other interesting thing, too, that you got to keep in mind that I think is kind of fascinating about the whole project itself. It's being helmed by, I'm forgetting the creator's name, but it's being held by the person who was the showrunner for Jessica Jones, which a lot of people like. Now, look, I admit I'm in the minority here. I was not a Jessica Jones fan.
I love the first season.
I
First
know.
season's so good.
Everybody loves it. Everybody loves Jessica Jones. I was one of the few people that didn't. I did appreciate the Defenders. I didn't think the Defenders was nearly as good as, say, Daredevil seasons 1, 2, or 3, or Punisher. But I thought Defenders was pretty solid. So the showrunner of Jessica Jones and Defenders is the one who's kind of behind this, the creative force behind this, which I think is going to have some people excited. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of happens. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this announcement that we're going to have Dakota Johnson, not Dakota Fanning, as I accidentally said like a dozen times, but we're going to have Dakota Johnson playing Madam Web? Does this kind of shake your expectations about what a Madam Web movie could be? Maybe you're like a lot of people, you've never even heard of Madam Web. Whatever you guys are thinking about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys, with all that down and out of the way, we're going to move on now and start taking your live questions that you guys have been firing in for the last hour or so. So let me see if I can get this lined up here. Oh, and I got it. I got us lined up. Let's jump over and start hearing from you guys, shall we? Chris, what are people asking in the live chat?
Okay. Oh, golly. Sorry, mine didn't load. There we go. All right. So we're going to the moon first. Are you okay? You fell recently.
Yeah, I mean, you fell. The moon did
right.
not like the topic of Halle Berry.
No. Raised by Wolves season 2 starts today. Have you or anyone on the show had the chance to check the show out?
Did either of you guys watch Raised
I
by
did.
Wolves season 1?
I haven't.
I'm not a fan.
I thought it was really interesting.
It's definitely interesting.
I was really interested. The last episode got a little weird.
Listen, I was kind of on board with it. I thought it was really fascinating. Honestly, the season finale for that show was like, I'm out.
Yeah,
like, I checked out.
I have to see where they go, but I thought it was, I thought it was wildly ambitious, really interesting. I don't know how successful it was dealing with the topics. It was like 5 different shows in one, kind of.
It's got Ragnar Lothbrok.
Yeah, I was
though.
going to ask. I was like, the Viking guy is in there,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Ragnar said that's why I was interested.
But I'll watch it. I mean, I'll definitely watch the second season.
I'm gonna wait to see what people say about season 2, because like I said, the finale of the first season 1, I was like, no, I'm out. But if you tell me it's great, I'll give season 2 a shot.
I don't know if I'd ever call it great.
Well, you haven't seen
It
it
was
yet. I'm talking about
intriguing.
season 2. Once you see season
Yeah,
2,
yeah.
let me know. All right, let's keep going here. What's next?
Josie reviews. Yo, Gio, if you drift in your Tesla, would you consider that the electric slide?
All right, what's next?
Wow.
Yes, Mar Hidalgo. I'm really enjoying the cliff notes on both.
Michael, is there a Matt?
Sorry, Matt. Matt got my tickets for Jackass tomorrow.
Game day.
Game day.
8:30 tomorrow. So pumped. And I see it's getting great reviews, better than I thought.
I was shocked. I don't know if you saw this, Ray, but like some of the first reactions coming up, everybody's saying it's great. Come on, Ray.
Getting
Let's get
excited.
it.
I'm already in, man. I'm already in.
That's the exact opposite of what Moonfall's getting.
So excited to see this. All right, what's next?
Yes, Mar Hidalgo. I'm really enjoying the cliff notes on Boba Fett.
Oh, well, thank you. We're glad. Yeah, it is. But yeah, we're doing that too. All right, what's next?
Andy, so excited to go home tonight to catch up on the latest episode of Superman and Lois and Peacemaker back to back. It's a DC game day for me.
I mean, listen, I look, and again with Superman and Lois, I really, really enjoyed most of the first season. And then, then it kind of went in a direction that just made me mentally disconnect from it. But it was really great up to a point for me. And I think a lot of people are still really appreciating the show. That's great. But yes, if you're a big DC fan and you're appreciating what they're doing with Superman and Lois, then between Peacemaker and that, it's a good time to be a DC fan on TV. And we got Harley Quinn season 3 coming soon.
Yeah. I'm catching up on Superman Lois this weekend, Andy. So
there you go. All
I'll
right.
be in there.
What's next?
Raphael, thank you so much for your donation
Thank
there.
you, Raphael.
Kevin Joyce, not betting on it, but wouldn't be surprised if we got a Kenobi teaser for the Super Bowl.
We talked about this yesterday a little bit. I mean, timing is right, but I just don't know that they're going to be spending $6.5 million for a 30-second spot on the Super Bowl when it's not their network it's on. So it's possible, but I don't think they're going to show one.
You know, there's a YouTube channel, I don't know if you know it, called Everything Always, that does news mostly about Marvel and stuff. They said that they were expecting a full Doctor Strange trailer, that they're calling the one that they've already released a teaser, but that on the Super Bowl there's going to possibly be a Doctor Strange
teaser.
teaser.
Top Gun, and Jurassic World, I think, are your biggest.
And they did say, the guy, I forget his name, but he did say that there might be Disney Plus previews as well. So maybe.
I feel like they do a hodgepodge, though, if it's going to be a Disney Plus ad, right? Of
Yeah,
here's everything you can watch on this streaming network.
I don't like that. It's like the Netflix ad we talked about earlier. I'm like, I want to see, like, show me more of that.
Here's a question. The Super Bowl, I think we established the Super Bowl is going to be on NBC.
Yes.
Right? What does NBC own?
Peacock.
Would they play a promo for a competing streaming service?
I mean,
If you
Peacock
pay
needs
for it.
money.
Yeah, money talks. You're right. All right, we'll find out. All right, what's next?
Raymond Verada. Unlike the Marvel and Star Wars shows, I don't think James Gunn needs a cameo for Peacemaker. It's just a great story.
Yeah, I said this, and boy, did I ruffle some feathers yesterday. Woo!
What did you say?
I like it when I ruffle feathers, though. So one of the things I said was like, look, I've really enjoyed the last couple of episodes of Boba Fett. I really, really have. I do lament a little bit, though, that Star Wars right now seems to be in a place where member berries seems to be all they can do to get a pop. Like, I really liked the last episode, but it was all, look, here's somebody you know, and look, here's somebody else you know, and look, here's somebody else you know. And I kind of said, Peacemaker hasn't had to do that. Peacemaker hasn't had to be, oh my gosh, Batman showed up. Or, oh my gosh, the Wonder Twins showed up. Form of a bucket of water. That's a throwback. Some of you won't know what I'm talking about. But, they could have had pop-up look, oh, look, Catwoman is in the scene. And the only one they did was a newspaper article that says Peacemaker, new superhero Peacemaker captures Kite Man.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they've done. And they haven't had to do that. And ooh, did some people get mad at me for saying that? But it's true. This is a show that if James Gunn felt he needed to, that, hey, we need to get some fan service pop in here. So let's have this recognizable DC character pop up or this recognizable DC character pop up. And they haven't. And the show has been marvelous regardless. And I'm not saying that's the only reason the last couple
Book of Boba
episodes
Fett even had to bring back an old starship from a Star Wars movie in recent episodes to make you go.
They did. And I'm not saying it didn't work. Obviously, I love the episode. So yeah, it worked for me. But I'm just saying it's kind of interesting on that. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher, breaking news, Spinal Tap and Blues Brothers announced that they are following suit with Neil Young and also pulling their music off Spotify.
I saw a great meme going around that says Milli Vanilli have announced that they're pulling somebody else's music off of Spotify. Again, that's an old throwback one. Some of you will, what's a Milli and a Vanilli?
Is she on Stranger Things?
Girl, you know it's true.
It's true. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Remember when they tried to prove it was them and they actually tried to sing the song? And it was like, oh my God, guys, stop. It does not sound like the song at all. Anyway, what's next?
Arun Babura? Sorry if I say your name wrong. I'm so sorry. The latest Peacemaker episode gave me the butterflies, John. Also, need to appreciate how James Gunn selects his soundtracks. I am addicted to that monster song.
Listen, I'll tell you what. We've been talking a bit this past week about the music selection in it. It's always perfect. Like, even the choice of what song he was playing on the piano.
Yeah.
That was perfect for that moment. It was they've done a great job with that, Arun. You're absolutely right. All right, what's next?
Elizabeth Gerardo. The new episode of Peacemaker made me squirm with all the butterflies. So disgusting. I feel for Aaron with that spider phobia.
I don't know that Aaron can watch it. Like, they're not spiders, but I don't know. I don't think she can watch. They're too spider-like.
Look, man, those droids in Boba Fett bothered her.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Dude, the 2-second shot of an animated spider in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse made her like beat the shit out of my arm.
Yeah.
So it was not a good thing. All right, what's next?
Matt, question for Chris. I know you love animation, so what are a couple of your favorites? Oh, BoJack Horseman, Steven Universe, Sailor Moon, Food Wars. There's so many. Go watch them.
What is Food Wars?
Food Wars. I've
It
mentioned
sounds
this
like
on
something I'd watch on the Food Network.
I've mentioned this on the show before. This is the one where it's like people are doing big battles for making food, and then they have ridiculous foodgasm reactions to it, where their clothes will like be thrown off of them, and they'll be like,
That's right. That's right. I remember you talking.
Yeah.
Strip Chef.
Yeah, you gotta let your neighbors know you're watching anime. Just
All
be
right,
very
what's
clear.
next?
Sam Fisher. I wouldn't be surprised if Uncle Ben is in that Spider-Man freshman year show, because isn't that supposed to be Tom Holland's Spidey pre-Civil War?
Yes. I mean, when they first announced that show, I said, well, it's clearly not going to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but I was wrong. It is. They've confirmed that. I don't think the MCU has an Uncle Ben. I never got one hint in any of the Spider-Man stuff we've had in the MCU that there was ever an Uncle Ben. There's never been an Uncle Ben mention in all the conversations with Aunt
Isn't
May.
there a suitcase though, and one of the things that says Ben on it?
There is but that could mean something else. So I mean, I don't know.
I thought she had mentioned him for some reason. I thought there was like a throwaway of
maybe I'm not remembering her, but I don't recall her ever mentioning an Uncle Ben.
I'm gonna have to rewatch all those movies. Dang it.
I mean, the suitcase, but that could mean it. That could have just been an Easter egg or whatever. But so I don't know. So we'll see. All right, what's next? Arun?
What if one of the butterflies takes over Amanda Waller and Adebayo would need to shoot it? James Gunn might do it.
Ooh. Want to talk about some heavy drama? James Gunn would do it.
I don't know. You can't kill Amanda Waller.
No, but you're not going to kill Amanda Waller. All right, what's next?
Ben Rayner, new Lord of the Rings poster looks great.
Again, remember, we're talking about 7 months out. These are not going to be the character posters. That's going to come when most of these things normally come, which is going to be about 3 months out or something like that. But I love what we're getting so far. All right, what's next?
Sam Sprill, hey guys, 29 days until the Batman.
The countdown is on. The countdown, most anticipated film of the year, Sam. All right, what's next?
Another Sam Fisher. Rob, are you excited for the Avengers, X-Men, and Eternals comic crossover this summer being written by Kieran Gillen? I'm super excited.
You know, modern comics, I really did like the Power of X and the House of X or House of 10 Power of X.
Those are really quite good.
The Hickman stuff, I really thought that a lot of people hated it. They're like, what direction is this? But it's the crossovers sound interesting to me, but I'll wait. I mean, I haven't been impressed with new comics in a very, very long time.
Did you see that
I'll
just
probably buy
announced,
the omnibus.
they just announced the new Fantastic Four team? This was all over the news yesterday. So the new Fantastic Four team is Ghost Rider, the Hulk, Wolverine, and I cannot remember who the fourth was. Any of you guys in the live chat remember who the fourth was? But it was Ghost Rider, Hulk, Wolverine, and somebody else. First of all, just with Hulk, that's all you need.
Yeah, it sounds like the team that nobody ever fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what else? You might as well add everything to it.
Yeah, you got Ghost Rider and Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
come on.
It's like the Mega Powers. It's like we had Hulk Hogan and Brand New Macho Man Savage. Who's
You're
going
gonna
to
need
fight
a whole
that?
bunch of comic book heroes from all the companies to go up against them.
Some people are saying it was it was Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was the fourth.
Okay,
Oh.
well,
So the Spider-Man is the weakest member of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I look at that and I'm like,
yeah. No one's gonna try to get into that club. Those bouncers are live right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I would ask, who is that for? Like, who's your audience for that
Well, I
team?
mean, the Fantastic
Why don't you make
Four-
a new Why don't you make a new team and call them something else?
But this is consistent with the history of the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four many times in the comic history.
yeah, they've had
other people
She-Hulk
play
was a
them.
member of the Fantastic Four.
Where the Fantastic Four had gone missing for a while, and other new four. So this isn't anything new for the Fantastic Four.
I know.
It's an interesting team, though.
Yeah,
It's
no
an
one's
interesting
messing
team.
with that.
No.
No one's messing with that.
Like you
Come
can
on.
put that team against the
And
Avengers,
you
and that
got,
team
like-
probably wins.
And you got two of the smartest guys there, Peter Parker and Bruce Banner.
That's true.
But is Spider-Man in there as Bagman? Or is he Spider-Man?
As what, man?
Bagman, when he's the Amazing Bagman.
I don't remember that.
It's just him in a Fantastic Four costume, but he's got a bag over his
Oh
head.
yeah, I remember.
I
The
don't
Funko
remember
Pop
that.
Of that.
There was a Funko Pop.
Yeah.
I remember that
You
one.
know what
It's in the
people?
video games, too.
You know what people were doing with that Funko Pop? They were popping off the head of the bag, and like you know how they have the football pops.
Yes.
If their team sucks, I've seen so many images of like the Lions Funko Pop with a bag over his head.
I like that. All right, what's next?
All right, we've got Cincinnati 5-star barber.
Oh yeah,
John,
my
well,
dude.
watching Mando Fett last night, full-blown kidgasm, phrasing, was achieved, and I almost fell off a terribly unsafe bridge with no handrails.
Yeah, there it goes. By the way, speaking of that feeling, I finally did watch the new episodes of Resident Alien.
How are they?
And?
I need to watch them.
Delightful. Delightful.
Love him.
But it reminded me of this because there's I'll just show one thing that happens in it where at one point Alan Tudyk's alien character takes the kid, puts him. So you want me to act like your father? He grabs the kid, puts him over his lap, and starts spanking him, saying, "This hurts me as much as it hurts you." And the kid is just sitting there going, "This is so inappropriate." Really good scene. Go check it out. But yes, I mean, I don't know why engineers in Star Wars never think about putting in handrails. It's always the most, like, whether it's the thing Obi-Wan had to walk around to turn off the tractor beam thing. Like, why is there a walk thing knob and no rails? I don't know. Crazy stuff. All
Terry
right,
on Tuesday in the chat said, no handrails? Terry.
All right, what's next?
All right. Rafael Castillo. I'm enjoying Julian Fellowes' newest, The Gilded Age, as much as I enjoyed Downton Abbey.
You know, I saw ads for that. Anne wants to see it, but I haven't watched an episode of it yet.
You know, I watched like the first 5 minutes because I heard about it, and I actually saw a Netflix ad, or not a Netflix ad, an ad before a YouTube show for the Guild. I'm like, ooh, I didn't really I knew that it was on HBO Max, but I didn't know what it was. And I'm like, okay, New York in the 1800s. I'm in. Count me in. And the beginning, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I like the opening. I mean, and then Elizabeth was like, you can't watch this without me. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
turned
I
it
wouldn't
off.
even dare to try to watch that without Anne. But I mean, Downton Abbey, it's got another movie coming out and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. All right, what's next?
Andy, forget that Dakota Johnson was in 50 Shades of Grey. The name Madam Web alone sounds like some potential for some kinky BDMS stuff. Well,
I mean, maybe it's a crossover. 50 Shades of Web. I don't know. Maybe. Kinky stuff going on there. All right, what's
Christian
next?
Grey joins the MCU.
Casey Mack, the last 2 episodes of Peacemaker will be nuts. This episode really set it up with the butterflies taking over the police station and Peacemaker's dad about to go after him.
Look, again, I thought at the end of that piano concerto that we were going to see White Dragon pop through.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we got to see what we wanted to see. Him taking on the White Dragon. I mean, like, what can he do? That's the thing. I'm like, why is he so feared and revered? And I'm sorry, but he's talking like, yeah, I'm like, because look, well, with all the jokes and everything aside, one of the things that Suicide Squad and this show have shown, you cannot fuck with Peacemaker. Especially when you look at Suicide Squad. He is very good at killing people.
Yes, he is.
Very good. And when you hear his dad saying, well, I'm going to go kill my son, it's like, well, how are you going to do that? Because I mean, obviously he's a super genius, creating that multi-dimensional kind of closet. So obviously he's a super genius. So what can he do? We're going to find out. All right, what's next?
James Germain, once I saw the Rohan posters, all that I heard in my head was, and Rohan shall answer.
One of the greatest lines in cinematic history. You're damn right. That's exactly what went through my head as well, James. That's exactly what went through my mind when I saw that damn horse. All right, what's next?
Stubble McShave, the Bruno song is okay, but the soulful Pull My Beads of Love from Vox Machina beats it every time. Love Sam Wrigley's dirty songs in that show.
Have any of you guys in this room watched Vox
I
Machina
watched
yet?
the first 2.
So you haven't seen the song yet.
No.
The gnome bard minstrel dude who we first meet having radical intercourse in the back of a hotel room, he sings this song about pearls.
Where does he keep them, John?
And he sings this song that I believe is titled Put on Them Motherfucking Pearls. Put on them motherfucking pearls.
Clam diver. All right, I have no idea.
Wow.
I
see what you did there, though.
Yeah,
I get it.
I mean, I'm just watching like, what are they doing this show? I tell you what, again, Vox Machina trailers did nothing for me. did nothing for me. But I watched the first 3 episodes. I'm like, you know what? I'm in. It's an entertaining little thing. All right, what's next?
Andy, one of 3. I will
Where
try to
does he
find the
keep
other
them, John?
2. When you think, it was a genuine question. When you think about it, Ben Affleck really is Bruce Wayne. He's rich, tall, huge, and good looking, with a full package, according to Gone Girl. And has his own Batcave and dated many gorgeous women, from Gwyneth Paltrow to Jennifer Lopez and Garner to Ana de Armas. He's the least anyone would expect to be Batman because he was laughed at by almost everyone when he was cast as Batman, as the idea seems so ridiculous to so many people.
You know what? I have never thought about it in those terms, but you are right. Ben Affleck is Batman.
He's like 6'4".
Oh, he's a big dude.
He's a big dude.
I remember the first time I met Ben Affleck, I met him to talk about, what was the damn movie? Argo.
Oh.
And he stood up, came over, shook my hand and stuff like that. And we sat down to talk. And it's like, yeah, I was actually kind of taken aback. Like, you always know he's a big guy, but he seems like a normal big guy. You're kind of unprepared that, no, he's a big guy. I remember the first thing I said to him, because I just seen Argo. And the very first thing, he introduced himself and I introduced myself. We sat down. I said, look, before you start, I just got to let you know, if you are not nominated for Best Director at the Oscars this year, I'm going to start keying somebody's cars. And of course, he never did get nominated for Best Director, even though he won Best Director at every other awards body, including the Directors Guild of America, gave him Director of the Year. And yet he wasn't even nominated at the Academy Awards. And yet Argo won Best Picture.
What?
Is the craziest thing. So yes, I think Ben Affleck probably is Batman. All right, what's next?
Wiley writes in with a $10 super chat. I love Dakota Johnson. I saw both of her new movies at Sundance, with Cha Cha Real Smooth being my favorite movie of the year so far. But I think this role is way too small for her.
This will be, other than 50 Shades, which had global popularity before anything else, other than 50 Shades, this will be the biggest role she's ever had.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you mean by this role is too small for her, other than maybe the word, there's a spider implication in the name of her thing. I don't know if you're playing words on there, but I've heard good things about that other stuff, but I haven't, obviously I didn't participate in Sundance this year, so haven't seen it, but I think the role is going to be quite big, Wiley. We'll find out. All right, what's next?
Mike Root. Hey gang, all I could think when Din landed after his joyride in the new ship was, looks like there's only room to bring him in cold.
That again, we've talked about this. Like, I am loving the ship. I rolled my eyes when it was an Naboo Starfighter at first, but what they've done with it and the way it zips, and I really like it. But it is not practical.
Well, not for his job description.
Not only that, but it's like, if you're going to make days-long trips through hyperspace,
you gotta go to the bathroom.
You gotta go. You had a bathroom in the other ship. You have storage for all your bounties and all the stuff you're tagging along. He's going to need another ship, I think.
There's a tube down there somewhere. I gotta believe.
There's a catheter. There's a catheter there. All right, what's next?
Sebastian Gonzalez, Book of Boba Fett, Episode 6, The Luke, the Cad, and the Grogu.
That's actually, you know what? That's very well laid out. Mm-hmm. All right, well done. What's next? John
Redcorn, fans, who asked for a Madam Web film? I don't know. Who asked for a Shang-Chi, Eternals, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, Peacemaker, and Shazam 2?
This is the funny thing to me. That is one of the strangest things that I hear some fans say. Nobody asked for that. Well, nobody asked for Avatar. I don't remember hearing anybody saying they wanted that movie.
Well, nobody asked for anything because it didn't yet exist.
Yeah,
so
I've already seen Fern Gully and Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Unless you're talking about a sequel to something.
No one was asking for Rocky back in like 1975.
Or the Lego movie.
Or the Lego movie.
The future Tetris movie.
Yeah. And listen, I'm guilty of this too.
Or the Centipede theories.
Movie.
I'm guilty of this too. Like one of the things I said about the Solo movie, I said, nobody's asked for a Solo movie. Especially not with Harrison Ford not being Solo, right? So I've done it too. So of course, but that's the thing. Nobody asks for any movie other than Solos. And I especially like it when somebody says, we don't need that movie. Newsflash, there's never been a movie made in the history of motion pictures that was needed to be made.
Dude, even after Jaws 3, I didn't think to myself, you know what we need? Jaws the Revenge. I didn't think
you know what this series needs? The shark needs to take it personally.
I know. He needs to start wearing a mask too and carry a knife.
Where's the character study?
Nick, if you have not seen the Michael Caine,
pathos.
If you have not seen the Michael Caine Jaws movie, where the premise,
don't forget Lorraine Gary.
The premise is literally that what remains of the what's the sheriff's family's name again?
The Brodies.
The Brodies. That what remains of the Brody bloodline is off in the Caribbean somewhere on vacation, and some other shark somehow knows what happened to the previous couple of sharks and knows it was that family, and that family is vacationing in the Caribbean, and it's going to go hunt them down.
Yeah.
Literally, the shark takes it personally and decides to go hunting this family.
They can smell blood in the water, John. I mean, it's just science. Read a book.
Figuratively and literally. All right.
But you know what? No one needed that movie.
Nobody needed that movie.
No one asked for it.
None. All right, what's next?
Mufasa. That monster song montage in Peacemaker was amazing.
It was. I mean, James Gunn just has a way with utilizing that stuff that is so great, so on the mark. And every song that he seems to pick perfectly accentuates the action of what's happening in the narrative at the time. And it went so well with that montage. It was crazy good. Well said, Mufasa. What's next?
Harv's K. No other Funko Pops matter now because Arsham the Judge supersized Funko Pop is now out, coming to judge all other pops.
I don't know why I didn't buy it. We were at GameStop.
Yep. Wait, it's already out? You saw, I would buy Arsham
I
the
do
Judge
not know
Pop.
why I didn't walk out with it. Ray, me, and Ann, we went to a GameStop. I can't remember what we were looking for. And I'm like, wait a minute, is that an Arsham the Judge? And it was, let me just grab this here.
It was one of those 10-inch
It
ones.
was one of these big
Oh.
ones, like my.
I just got one in the
right?
mail that I forgot I ordered. It's Master Chief.
It's a pop?
Yeah, and I want to bring it in, but I was like, I have no real estate anymore. So
Yeah, you might have to
you
make
can
some
keep 'em on
creative
my desk.
choices.
Oh, yeah, let's do
You
it.
can live over here.
I want to get that and put it in the bathroom so every time you go, he's judging you.
I won't be able to go.
Like, I don't need that.
I hate even hearing sounds outside the door.
Yeah.
I tighten up, literally.
I'm not kidding. This has
You
happened.
pee shy, Ray? Pee shy?
Ray has literally been here at my house and said, I'm going to go home to use the bathroom,
Yeah.
which homeowners love and appreciate. But still, I've never often seen people
Yeah.
actually say
That
that.
has to be silent so I can make my own
You
noise.
You don't go here? Like, one of the best things about working is being paid to poo.
Oh, no, I never do that at work.
Yep.
You know, but I'll start doing it
Okay,
here, John.
well.
See how you like it.
So, no, I encourage your habits.
For girls, it's different.
Go. All right, what's next?
Jacob Hirsch, I know you're not much of a Beatles fan, but on Sunday I went and saw the rooftop concert in IMAX for its 53rd anniversary. It was truly wonderful.
Listen, if I am a totally in the minority that I am not a big Beatles fan. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I think the Beatles suck. No. I'm just not a big Beatles fan. That's all. But they are the most important band in rock history. You don't have to be a Beatles fan to acknowledge that. They are the most important band in rock history. And that something like that would be actually, my favorite band of all time is U2, and they homaged that for their music video of Where the Streets Have No
Yep.
Name. They homaged the Beatles on that, and that's how important the Beatles are. So I think that's great.
It's a great
man.
video, too, by the way.
I'm glad. Yeah, it is a good video, right? I'm glad you were able to do that, Jacob. That sounds like a really good experience. All right, what's next?
Multiverse of movies. Gonna watch Moonfall. Ray and Rob are the reason why I'm watching Moonfall. I know the reviews were negative, but I'm hyped to see the moon falling.
There's
You will?
You're
And
gonna
the
see
moon,
it fall.
the moon doesn't just fall, it flies around.
Yeah.
By spoiler alert, the moon falls.
Yeah, it does. I just wanted to see more of the moon falling. Really.
Yes.
Really.
For no reason.
Yeah, for no reason. It doesn't need a reason. Why does it orbit Earth?
I hope it's the first of a trilogy, frankly.
Oh no.
The moon falls.
No, I already want to
Again.
reboot. I want to reboot.
Reboot. I still remember we were driving. I told on the show the other, Ray and I were driving out to Burbank to meet you two to go and watch Moonfall. And Ray's like, I haven't watched the final trailer. I'll just watch it right now. We're in the car, right? And I'm just driving, and Ray's watching this thing on his phone. And all of a sudden, I hear Ray go, "There are aliens in this movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, you didn't know that? I thought it was just the moon was mad at the Earth and wanted to crash into the Earth." That would make it pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, look at M. Night's The Happening, right? Wouldn't that just be an extension of M. Night's The Happening? The trees can just come alive and hate people.
Someone was pointing out that I guess like those asylum movies, they released Moon Crasher.
Oh, I heard. Yeah, I heard
You
something.
have
That's
I bet you all
watch
like it.
Well, we should do a
I bet
whole
you'll like
review
it
of
more
the
than the real
subgenre of
one.
moon falling movies.
Yes.
All right, let's keep going. What's next?
More from Cincinnati's 5-star barber. Rob, before my second straight viewing of Mando Fett, I got my hot toys Luke and Grogu and held them like Saturday morning teddy bears.
Wow.
Oh, the SW justice.
Well, that's the way to do it. That's the way to watch. I mean,
I was at Frank and Sons, where I got my Captain America and your Moon Knight, and they had that Luke holding Grogu figure there. Anne almost bought it. Anne was tempted to buy it.
I mean, the range of Mandalorian Hot Toys figures is ridiculous.
Yes.
And it's going to get, I mean, now we're going to get Cad Bane. I hope we get Cobb Vanth. I mean, it's so expensive, and I'm happy to say I have the heavy Mando, which people slept on. I got my heavy Mando. Everyone's like, I'm not going to buy that. I'm glad I have it now, especially after 2 weeks ago. I'm like, yep. Try and find it.
We haven't seen the last of him either.
It's like $800 now if you can find it.
Oh, God.
All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw, I want to see Boba find out that it was the Pikes that killed the village of Tuscans, and then he completely loses his shit and we see him go berserk.
Who does he think? Doesn't he believe it was them that killed them?
I would think so.
I thought so, yeah.
Because they were shooting at him from the train.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he already knows. It was. I think he knows it was them. I might not be remembering that right, but yes, that is some sweet. I love righteous vengeance in movies and TV shows. Love righteous vengeance. All right, what's next?
Sin Vendetta. Hey, John, I'm really hoping that you'll do a ticket watch for the Batman because it was due to the Spider-Man No Way Home ticket watch that I was even able to get my tickets opening night.
Well, I mean, see, here's the thing, Sin. I love the idea of it. I do. I love because 100% we're going to be doing a reaction watch for the Batman. That is 100% happening. But ticket watch, the thing is with Spider-Man, we were expecting drama. We were expecting drama with the Spider-Man tickets going on sale. And sure enough, drama we got.
Yeah.
I am not anticipating trouble getting tickets. I mean, I feel bad about that because it is my number one most anticipated film of the year. But I just don't know that AMC's ticket site is going to crash, or the Fandango's ticket sites are going to crash, or we're going to be desperate that people aren't going to be able to get within the first hour, that people aren't going to be able to get the tickets they want for the showtime they want in the theater they want. I just don't think that's going to be the case. Now, as we get closer to the release in the next week or two, maybe we'll change our minds. Maybe we'll sense that hype. But right now, like whereas Spider-Man opened with 260 million, I don't see Batman doing more than 150, which is still huge. But I just don't know. You guys think we should do a ticket
Spider-Man
watch?
was just more of a family-friendly movie too. I think.
Yeah.
You know, people are buying not only for themselves but their kids. Batman, I don't know if it's going to get that same sort of.
Well, also, even in the fan community, everybody was excited for Spider-Man. I'm actually hearing dissent. There are people that are not excited for this movie for whatever reason, and I'm like, that seems odd to me because the movie looks terrific.
Yeah, it does. I think.
Yeah, it looks great to me. All right, what's next? Thanks for that, Sin.
BJL Studios, question for Rob. How does one say someone like me, a young 20-something filmmaker, get to work or even collaborate with you? Because I would love to. Thanks.
Money.
Bring the money. Say, hey.
You want to collaborate with me? No. I mean,
but wait, before you continue that thought, that's not funny because like you want to collaborate with anybody, show that you can. The number one problem with any project getting done is financed.
Right.
You bring the money to the table. You bring the money. That's one of the biggest hurdles. That'll get you in the door with almost anybody.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think ultimately when you're working on a project, like it's gotten to the point now where that's all you spend. Orson Welles talked about he spent 98% of his life trying to get money to make his movies, and he didn't get to make nearly enough, and it's frustrating. And worse than that, I will not spend money on a project if I don't think I can get that money back to whoever's putting up the cash. That's part of it as well.
I have honestly turned down a project that I just knew there's no way you'll get your money back from this.
Yep.
As somebody who's willing to put up the money, I'm like, there's no way, and I can't live with that.
No, I can't either. And it's not enough. It's no longer enough just to make. I used to think, yes, please let me make a movie. Let's work on it. But unless you are going to get it out there and shown in distribution and you can pay back your investor.
Like right now, we're not going to give details, but right now, I'm kind of talking with some people about a documentary project. And they have the access to and are willing to put up several $100,000 for it.
Yeah.
And see, that's different because I actually believe this project, you know what project it is.
Yeah.
I actually believe that project is something we can get them their money back. But I mean, it is a difficult thing in the business. All right, what's next?
Dylan Schmoll. Just me, or does Chris give Lily from How I Met Your Mother vibes? Oh, that's nice.
I've never seen How I Met Your Mother.
Okay. Allison Hannigan.
Oh, it's her. That's her character. Jude, what was her other name? Willow?
Willow, yeah, and Buffy.
Yeah, she was, and Buffy. Yeah, you do get that character's kind of vibes. I like that. That's a good one. I like that.
Thanks,
all right, what's
guys.
next?
That's nice. Brandon Blake. The canon in Last Jedi establishes that post-episode 6, Luke made a lot of well-intentioned mistakes. We may have to mentally prepare to see those mistakes.
Maybe, and yes. And I remember some people were very upset that Luke in The Last Jedi, that Luke was not portrayed as infallible. And it's like, hello, have you watched the Star Wars movies?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he would struggle. You know, one of my biggest gripes that I have. Now, again, I don't love. There are things about The Last Jedi that I love. There are things about that I loved. Overall, I like the film, but there are a number of things in the movie that I really had a problem with. But the one criticism about The Last Jedi that always makes me scratch my head is like the whole thing about Luke wouldn't have made that mistake with
Ben?
Ben. He wouldn't have made that mistake with Ben. He wouldn't have done that. And I'm like, have you watched the original Star Wars movies? You do realize that Luke saw what happened with his own father, who created genocide, was responsible for the death of hundreds of millions, if not billions of people, maybe multiple billions of people across the universe. He saw firsthand how things can go south. Of course, he has some doubt in himself. He always has. That is absolutely consistent with the character of Luke Skywalker as he has been portrayed in the movies. And again, look, and all film is subjective. You can like or not like whatever. I certainly don't like a lot of stuff in it too. But that one criticism about it's like, that was completely inconsistent with Luke. I'm like, have you watched the
Luke
movies?
doesn't even listen to Yoda in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Like, don't leave.
Yep.
Like,
No, I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm out. See you later, dude.
I mean, it's just, anyway, that's just one of the criticisms. But again, everybody has their own take on it. All right, what's next?
Casey Mack again. Hopefully we have better Netflix movies than we had last year. Looking forward to The Gray Man, The Atom Project, Day Shift, and Knives Out too.
The funny thing is there's always Netflix movies I'm looking forward to until I see them.
Yeah.
And I don't know, honestly, out of the 86, 87, 88 movies that they're going to put out this year, how many are going to be good?
60 of them are going to be Christmas movies, and it's going to be the best.
Christmas movies.
I want to see Day Shift, though. I love Jamie Foxx. I want to see him in a
great.
starring
But
role
they
again.
did that one. Was that not? Am I thinking of somebody? No, I'm thinking of Jamie Foxx. Yeah, it was Jamie Foxx and the guy who is in three words in his name, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. What was that one where you take the pill and you get superpowers?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Remember that one? Remember how excited we were about that one?
Yeah.
Remember how shitty that movie was?
Yeah,
that is the story of Netflix movies. Some of them look really, really good, and then you watch them, and it's like, wow.
Which one was the one with the monster or fairies and there were cops?
Yep, that was.
I thought that
Will
one was
Smith,
pretty good.
That was Will Smith and Joel Edgerton.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it was
was
written
dull.
by
I
Max
hated
Landis.
it. I hate it.
I here's
Actually
what I
didn't
say
think it
though.
was bad.
There was some really
Bright.
cool
It's called
ideas.
Bright.
Yeah.
Bright. There were some really cool ideas in that movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole idea about the mythology behind all that stuff.
Yeah.
There were some very, very cool ideas. I didn't think the execution was
No,
very
go
good.
watch
But there were some
Zootopia
cool
instead.
ideas. But
Like-
that's the story of most of these Netflix movies. So
They have
I
live
will
action
say,
He-Man.
Day Shift.
live action He-Man's coming, which I'm sure is going to be garbage.
Day Shift is going to be really interesting because I've gotten to read part of that script.
Really?
And yeah, Logan was up for one of the parts, and so I'm really excited about that.
What is it even about?
Can I say it? I think I
No,
can
yeah,
say it,
you-
right?
you
Yeah,
probably
you
should.
should. You probably
Okay.
never mind.
Okay.
Never mind.
No. So,
It's-
all right.
What
It's-
kind of genre is it? Is it a crime movie? Is it a fantasy movie?
It's
What is
gonna
it?
go into like a fantasy supernatural
That's
realm.
all I need to know.
All right. What's next?
Sam Fisher. That Gambit movie never sounded like a good idea.
I disagree. I thought it was. I thought it could have been good, but we'll never know, Sam. You might be right. All right, what's next?
James Wheeler. Rob, I was so happy to hear you reference King's Row in yesterday's mailbag. I grew up watching that movie.
King's Row, for those of you who don't know, it's a great film, but it was scored by Eric Korngold. And if you listen to that score, John Williams took a lot of the original Star Wars score for the original film. It was inspired a lot by what Korngold does. So it's a great score. Great movie, too, by the way.
All right, what's next?
Brian Sanner. Hey, John and crew, I love the show.
Thank you, man.
Movies and TV shows are my life. What are your thoughts on Raised by Wolves? Season 2 last night started. Game day.
Yeah, again, I am right now. I am off the train. I'm off the train. I was kind of captivated by the show at first, got intrigued with it, although it became a very slow burn as you get it. But still, it was intrigued with it. And then the season finale happened, and I'm like, nah, this don't work, Chuck.
I'll watch. I'll take one for the team and watch season 2.
And I hope it's good. And if you tell me it's really good, I will get back on that train and give it another shot. But it's just that the season finale just kind of lost me. But that was me. All right, what's next?
John Farag. Hey, gang, Grogu theory. He goes back with Mando, and he becomes the Mandalore, not Din, thus sealing the breach between Jedi and Mandalorians.
I don't know what you mean by he becomes the Mandalore.
I guess he would wield the Darksaber and be the person
running
stuff.
But that means they would have to fight, because the only way he can take the Darksaber...
Oh, yeah, he'd have to kill his dad.
It doesn't necessarily have to kill, because remember, Mando didn't kill Moff Gideon, right? He just defeated him in combat and took it. And you can't willingly give it up. Like you can't pull a Goldberg or whatever. Or no, who was it? No, it was Diesel. It was Diesel. And what's Diesel's real name? Kevin Nash?
Kevin Nash.
You can't pull a Kevin Nash to Hulk Hogan where you're going to have a match with Hulk Hogan and the bell rings and Kevin Nash just lays on his back so Hulk Hogan can pin him. You can't do that with the Darksaber. There's no honor in that. You actually beat him in combat. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll see where that goes. All right, what's next?
J.R. Wheeler. Hi, guys. Since it's obvious they can't tie an entire war up in Boba Fett, do you think we'll need to wait till season 2 or will it continue in Mando?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of movies and TV shows really don't use the word war properly, because there was like 8 people in Boba Fett's, war chamber there. And there's like, how many pikes did they say got off the transport?
A lot.
20 something, 30 something, whatever. War might be a bit of an exaggeration. It's more like a Sharks versus Jets street
skirmish.
Fight. Yeah, it's going to be a skirmish. So we'll see what happens there. All right, what's next?
The man with the master plan. Mailbag is awesome. Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, we've been enjoying doing the mailbags, and we got another episode of that coming today. Thank you, man with the master plan. What's next?
Franco Villamil. Name that bar behind John, Barman and Tobin.
I don't get it.
Is it supposed to be Batman and Robin, but with a bar?
Barman and Tobin? Okay, I'll take it. No, I don't. I still don't get it. And you know what? There's probably a deeper meaning to what Franco's saying that's just going over our heads. All right, what's next?
Prestonian. Dude.
Oh, tips in like $20. Yeah. Thank you, Prestonian, for supporting us on that level, man.
Dude, John, just watched Boba Fett / Mando episode 6 last night, and man, this is the follow-up to the OT that we needed. Maybe not that we deserved. Anyway, so excited for where this whole thing is going. Bring on the filthy.
I thought it was good. But just, this character's here. That makes it awesome. But they did, especially when you look at Cad Bane. Like, what they did with Cad Bane in that episode was so great. Again, I contend Ahsoka, and I'm very excited about the Ahsoka series because Rosario Dawson, I'm excited about that. But what did she do in this series, in that episode? She did something that Luke... Honestly, narratively, Luke should have had that conversation with Mando, not her. They would have been far more powerful and far more meaningful had Luke had that conversation. She literally was there to show up, have a conversation that another character could have had, give a little bit of fan service saying, I'm a friend of the family. Ooh, she referenced the fact that she knew Anakin, right? A little bit of that and then left. Whereas Cad Bane just... He justified his presence there in that show. He was menacing. He was delivering the message. He gave the Godfather feels. Everything about that was great and perfect, and I loved it.
Well, I think one of the problems for me is that I'm watching this show called Book of Boba Fett. Now I'm watching Luke train Grogu. I mean, I know that eventually, tangentially, we'll get back around, but Cad Bane at least was directly connected to the Pikes and the main. Yeah, and I just feel like... just because we've seen these characters, do we have to put every live action Disney Plus Star Wars character in the same
what
show?
What the fans are responding to.
I know, but that's, to me, it's they should be responding to the show that's being shown to them, not just it's Luke's back. Everyone's going to respond to Luke. They should just make a Luke and Grogu show.
I think if it was, because we see from the first episodes the Boba we have now. fighting style, mentality, all that. I think I would rather watch what they showed than, because it would have just been Boba either sending people to recruit troops or him talking to people. That just didn't sound great to me.
He should have been a part of that. But I will say this, in its defense, with Grogu and all that kind of stuff. If in the final episode, Grogu does show up, right? And plays some kind of vital role in the climax of the Book of Boba Fett, then in hindsight, I will think showing the background of what brought Grogu here and what personal dilemmas Grogu himself had to face to make a decision to come and be a part of that with Mando, then I'll say that it kind of worked. But that's something we won't know until after we see the episode.
I guess it's just because, Boba Fett is a character that's had mysteries and mystique since 1980.
Yeah.
And I thought that we were going to get like the definitive exploration into Boba Fett's character.
And
like
we have
maybe
not gotten that.
No, and I don't. Maybe that's
Rob, that's not why did you have that expectation?
I'm like, well, because the show's called The Book of Boba Fett. I would assume that, well, he wrote the book on this, why wouldn't we see that? And I feel in a way, I just find it an odd choice because it seems like what they were getting, the show, it's almost like they responded. We know they wrote it and they made it in advance.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, well, these people aren't responding to this. They don't like our Vespa gang, so let's bring back the Mandalorian and Grogu and Luke and all the things that people do like, and I feel that the show from its conception standpoint is a little strange to me.
It seems like a gateway to the other shows, but I will say this about Cad Bane. I don't know anything about the character, but that's probably the first dude in Star Wars that actually terrifies me.
He was terrifying.
He was terrifying.
He's terrifying.
terrifying.
Like, I don't want to see any of the people I like get into anything with him. Even the BK.
Yeah.
He didn't terrify me, but this guy, he does. I don't know why. Maybe it's the voice. Maybe it's just because he walks
And
in
the
by
acting.
himself.
Yeah.
Because everybody walks everywhere on
Like
Tatooine.
Dust Devil, like Richard Stanley's
All
Dust
right.
Devil. He just
We still got
walks
more
in.
questions to get through. Actually, thanks for writing that in, Prestonia. What's next?
This is from Dante Serecchia. Hi, friends. My last name is pronounced Serecchia, Italian name.
Ah.
Thank you for giving me that phonetic. I appreciate that. I'm Olive Garden Italian. I can not pronounce anything. Anyway, this Madam Web movie basically implies live-action Spider-Verse, right?
Not necessarily. Like too often we as fans, myself included, we take some little random bit of information and we construct entire, paradigms of what this now means. This
Yeah,
means-
especially because Mephisto's going to be in this thing too.
And 99% of the time we're wrong. So I don't know if it implies anything, but in the comics, she is a multiversal kind of character. So that could very well be about bringing in the anime. I mean, I don't know. Anything is possible, but I don't know if I would say definitively this implies that this is going to happen. Not sure I'm there yet. All right, what's next?
King Tannic, this is one of two. With a film like Belle, which is awesome, it is eligible to put on the best of my 2022 list, even though it released internationally in the last quarter of 2021, but it wasn't in the US until 2022. Similarly, with No Way Home, a lot of countries didn't get the movie until 2022, but it released in December for us. Should these countries view it as a 2021 or 2022 movie?
It's irrelevant semantics, to be honest with you. It doesn't really matter. But if we want to talk about in ways that how is the film actually classified? For example, you're right. Spider-Man doesn't release in some places, but for the purposes of box office records and for the purposes of Academy Awards and stuff like that, Spider-Man No Way Home is a 2021 film. If you live in Bangladesh and the movie didn't open until February of 2022, well, for you, it's a 2022 film. But then don't be confused when the Oscars qualified as a 2021 or when you go into the IMDb page and it says it's a 2021 film, the year it comes out. Because I've often had this debate with people saying, well, the box office for that has actually made all of its money in 2022. It doesn't matter when it made all its money. What matters is if the movie released officially in 2021, that's what the box office numbers are applied to. Other movies in 2021. It's not about how much money made in this year or that. So you're not wrong either way, King Tantic. You're not wrong. If you consider a movie that opened in one country, one date, and you consider it that year, you're perfectly good to do that. If you think it's another, you're perfectly good to do that. Anything else to add to any of that, guys?
No.
No. So you're either way, King Tantic. I think you're safe. All right. Thanks for asking, man. Next up.
Gindru Arfield. over or under 50% in Doctor Strange 2, Thor will kill Andrew, and because of that, Toby will change into Bully Maguire and will go after Thor and Thor.
Oh, that's 100%. That's 100%.
That's canon.
It's already canon.
Yeah.
I believe there's several comic books that
my
depict
gosh,
the
yeah.
slaying of Spider-Man by Thor.
Absolutely. I'd like to see that.
I'm down for it. All right, what's next?
Soul Brother Mac, can we discuss how Ahsoka shared a screen with Luke? What is the story behind that?
Well, I mean, obviously because she was trained by Luke's dad. So that's the thing. I'm a friend of the family. Woo! But yeah, so there was that line. But honestly, there is something poetic about that. I just wish. Look, Dave Filoni was directing this episode, which means that this literally could have been an episode about the original building and creation of R2-D2, and he was going to put Ahsoka Tano in it. Let's just call it what it is, right? I mean, God bless him.
Here's your parts.
This could have been an episode of The Godfather's The Offer, and he would have found a way to put Ahsoka Tano in it. So it just would have been. So while seeing Ahsoka on screen with her master's son, there's something poetic and beautiful about that. I just wish that if they had predetermined that's a shot we need to have in this episode, then give Ahsoka narrative purpose that really needed her character to be there. Like, Ahsoka has to be there because of this. And because she's there for that, we get to have this screenshot of her and Luke together. So I think it's a great moment. It's a wonderful moment. I just wish they'd given her a real legitimate reason to be there. That's just my take on it. All right, what's next?
Ablo CD, we need RMB back in the windy Wellington, baby.
What is he talking about?
The windy Wellington in Wellington, New Zealand.
I never even knew. I knew.
Oh,
you'd been to
dude.
New
Okay,
Zealand.
one
That's
of my
right.
favorite things about Wellington is landing at their airport. The winds. There are times when I love when planes go awry, especially when I'm in them. I've been waiting for my emergency water landing forever. But landing at the Wellington airport because of the wind, the planes sometimes go like this.
Oh yeah,
I've watched more people freak out on planes. I just sit back and I just smile.
Hard no.
The Wellington airport is dope. Like, they should sell tickets just to planes on windy days so you can just get into the planes, fly around, take off, fly around, and land at the
I'll tell you
Wellington
what.
airport.
There was 1 year that we were nominated. I believe we were at Collider at the time, but we were nominated for the Academy of Web Television for Best Live Series. Movie Talk was nominated for Best Live Series, and the ceremony in the show was being held in Las Vegas, and so. We said anybody on the crew who wanted to come down and be in Las Vegas for the ceremony can come on down. And so we had about 7 of us there. We went to Las Vegas to be there for the ceremony. By the way, we won. It was a great ceremony. It was an awesome time. One of the crew members who came was Alicia. And I don't know why I'm freezing on Alicia's last Malone. Alicia Malone was one of the team members who was coming, but she didn't drive down with us. She was flying in to meet us there. This was the worst weather I had ever seen in Las Vegas. The trees weren't just swaying. They were like this. Like, the wind and the rain was like anything I'd ever seen. And Alicia was flying in. And the night that Alicia got there, we went and met her. She met us at the restaurant. We were having dinner. And she was like, the plane came into land and had to abort 3 times. Ooh. Because it was going, she goes, I was looking out the window and literally seeing the runway, and then the runway disappearing under the plane because the plane was being pushed away. 3 times they went down, tried to land, aborted, circled back around, abort, circle around, abort. The pilot announced that they were going to give it one more shot, and they couldn't. They were going to have to turn the plane around and fly back to Los Angeles.
Oh, dude.
And they landed it, but she said it was the terror. She never wanted to do that again.
Man. In New Zealand, they'll land. They know how to do it.
There's only one chance.
By the way, I'll tell you something else.
You only get one shot twice.
Speaking of flyers, so when we were working on Chronicles of Narnia on the South Island up at a place called Flock Hill, where they were shooting the battle sequence, they had like 6 helicopters that would ferry the crew up. Those helicopter pilots were truly insane. And because we were the DVD crew, like, we could get into whichever helicopter. We'd sometimes just ask them, hey, can you take us up to... Sure. Those guys are insane. There's nothing better than flying with New Zealand helicopter pilots if you can't be scared of flying.
Good.
because
Oh, wow.
I watched
Now
them.
this is
I
when
was-
you were there for the Lord of the Rings stuff.
No,
right?
this was on Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh, the Chronicles.
Yeah, I didn't get to fly in helicopters for Lord of the Rings, but Chronicles of Narnia because we were there for 14 months. So when we were up outside of Christchurch, it's outside of Christchurch on the South Island. Those dudes, man, I don't know where. I don't even know how you learn how to do what they do, but man, it was terrifying. But then we're like, can we go up again?
All right.
It's the best.
Next up.
Another Casey Mack. Lots of news came out before today's show. Even Scream 6 was announced.
Yeah, they Rob and we were talking about this before the show that they've announced that they're going to make another Scream movie to follow up on this one. No big surprise. This one had some pretty good success and was actually not a bad little movie.
Yeah,
So-
and it's making money.
I actually thought this was it. That was the last.
Oh no, that's never going to be the last. You know why? Because it's never. It's a new killers every single time,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
never over. It's
What?
always the next one.
It's always a new killer.
In the same
Always a
town.
new spoiler.
What?
Always a new
You
killer.
think everybody would just move?
Just
Yeah.
get out of there.
Move. All right, what's next?
Purple Haze 4564.
By the way, sends in like a $20 super chat. Thank you, Purple Ace, for supporting us on that level.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I recently watched The Suicide Squad, right? And I'm looking at Harley Quinn move set and how she takes guys out again. How the hell doesn't she put up a decent fight with Batman?
Well, look, there are a lot of characters who are badass, but there's always a bigger badass, and that biggest badass is Batman, the dude who can beat Superman sometimes. As ridiculous as that is, but that's the thing. That's why I always say, like, if you're doing a movie, anything short of Jesus, nobody beats Batman. I mean, that's it. I mean, Superman will sometimes.
I would love to watch Jesus fight Batman.
Yeah, like anything short of that, the winner is Batman. So yeah, Harley, they make her out in those movies to be great. By the way, her as she's escaping in this latest Suicide Squad movie and like just wrecking people
Yeah.
on the way out. That is a wonderfully choreographed action sequence. I thought that was great. But yes, Batman is still Batman. That's just it. All right, what's next?
Jabin Carter. It's a good thing Brady retired. He was getting old. Little known fact, he was on a regular regimen of Metamucil. It really helps make things easier to pass. Whatever it is.
Let's go.
Although it's got to
Let's
again
go.
be said, at 44 years old, this season in the NFL, at 44, Tom Brady led the league in completions, in yards, and in touchdowns. At 44 years old, he led the league in all the major stats. This guy could have gone another 2 or 3 years if he wanted to.
Could have been a contender.
But hey, he's rich. He's married to Gazelle. He's what's there left to do? He's got companies and businesses. Good on him. Thank you, Tom Brady. All right, what's next?
Luke 1234. Instead of hiring go-go dancers for After Dark, just get a blow-up doll and tape its feet to the top of a Roomba.
Don't have the air behind it. So
I've
it's
got
like
my
moving.
Roomba in the car because I haven't unloaded it from the move, so we can do this right now.
wow.
Love the idea. I'll just put the Henry Cavill stand up
Yeah.
on the Roomba, and Henry Cavill will be dancing around the
Okay,
background.
that's funny.
Yeah, and by the way, After Dark is returning in the within the next two weeks. The next episode of After Dark will be back within the next 2 weeks. All right, what's next?
Saint Sire, I love this crew, but my favorite is Chef Pleasures.
Aww.
Chef Pleasures
Chef
cooking up some
Pleasure.
goodness.
Yeah.
Where are we going to go to dinner tonight? By the way, we should go hit someplace up to eat before the movie.
It definitely
Yard
won't
House?
be after the movie.
Why? The movie's not till
'cause-
7.
No, I
He
meant
doesn't
because I have
have
a
full
feeling.
stomach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
he's
a
gonna-
feeling. that
Oh,
there's
you're
be
going to
some-
be fine.
There's gonna if they do any poop bits, nah.
I don't think there's going to be any poop bits.
Oh, they've grown way past. Poop
I think,
bits.
yeah, they're
yeah,
more
yeah,
mature
they're,
now.
they're, yeah. Those days are over.
They're
they blow up
air
an
stacks
outhouse
to the
or something?
balls now.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, ball stuff is
Ball
fine.
stuff. It's all
Ball
about the ball
stuff's fine,
stuff.
but poop things aren't.
No,
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
I
good
won't
at poop
watch. I
stuff
won't
either.
eat anything watching either one of them, but those things happen. But I don't know. We'll
All
see.
right, we'll see. All right, what's next?
Todd Naparek, I can't see Dune getting a Best Picture win until its story is complete, like the Oscars did with Return of the King before it got Best Picture. Is that fair?
But no, I don't know that I agree. Look, that's saying that the reason Lord of the Rings didn't win Best Fellowship of the Ring is because it was the first part. No, it just didn't win. I mean, it was great. It was awesome. It got nominated, all three of the things. But I mean, Return of the King was just the next level. I mean, that was just that. So I don't know if it's look again to me, the best picture of the year is West Side Story. I mean, I think that's got. You know what? I thought West Side Story had all the momentum. I've been feeling that momentum slipping away a little bit. I'm not quite sure I feel another film picking up the momentum. Maybe Year of the Dog, or not Year of the Dog.
Power of the
Power
Dog.
of the
Power
Dog.
of the Dog. Year of the Dog. It was just Chinese New Year. I got that on the brain. So, but I feel like the momentum's slipping away a bit. It shouldn't, though. I still think it should win Best Picture. If you had to give away Best Picture right now, what would you give it to?
Tick, tick, boom.
Yes.
Tick Tick Boom would be one of my nominees.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think it would win. It was my favorite movie of the year.
Same.
All right.
But I think West Side Story, there's a argument to be made there.
Yeah, I think there's a good tight race. Okay, we still got a few to get through here. Let's go through the last ones we got here pretty quick. What's next?
Kyle Wong, why can't they write TV Star Wars like Game of Thrones, where you watch multiple storylines at once and you get to see the characters' story arcs evolve in a 10 to 15 episode series?
That's just a formula question. Who cares? This is the thing. We as movie and TV fans, we like to reduce everything down to think into terms that we think is easy to grasp. And what's easier to grasp than the idea of formula? Make the comic book movie R-rated. That will make it better.
But I think,
No.
I understand what our viewer is saying in the sense that because it's like this show's jerked us around a little bit. But if they had had these storylines sort of interwoven from the beginning, and I mean, obviously, what's really weird is if you think that about the time factor, we watched 5 years in the life of Boba Fett from the time he left the Sarlacc pit to
True.
now.
Yeah. And they
But
didn't do a very good job
No.
doing the transition of time.
No, and then suddenly now you're watching all of this happening because you were watching the modern day and then Boba Fett with the Tuskens going back and forth. Now we went away from that story and we're with Luke and we're with Grogu, and that was the end of the Mandalorian, which it's been very odd in terms. And if they had done a better job interweaving the stories, I think it would have been stronger.
My argument against that is I think interweaving the stories would have made it feel even less of a Boba Fett show. I think if you had, because like if my theory is right, and we're going to find out next week if I'm right or wrong. There's a very good chance it could be wrong. But that the whole point of last week's episode with Mando and this week's episode with Grogu was just to give us the background and context for when they show up in the main thing, then integrating and interweaving those stories right from the beginning of the season would have felt like overkill.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that, but I mean, it would have been interesting to see. Like I always say, Godfather 2 because that structure was so great.
It
When
was.
you're going between young Vito Corleone and Michael Corleone, both having to deal with the intricacies of their responsibility and what they're trying to do, and it would have been interesting to see more of like even just Boba Fett, what was going on in the present day in Mos Espa, as opposed to what was going on with the Tuskens, and make that story interwoven a lot tighter.
Do we all agree in principle though that they spent far too much time on Boba Fett's background with the Tuskens? Like that should have all been done in like one episode, I think.
I agree.
All right, what's next?
Life Mastery Mindset. I am surprised we have not gotten a BSG movie yet.
Dude, I'm waiting. They've been talking about new Battlestar Galactica movies. They've been talking about new Battlestar Galactica series. Apparently some things are in motion. Just the mythology and the story of Battlestar Galactica is so good. And Ronald D. Moore's version is my all-time favorite TV show, but I'm still anxious to see a new iteration of it.
We're
Well,
doing
John,
it.
you know it's all happened before, and it'll all happen again.
Say, we're getting a new show, aren't we?
And a new movie.
Yeah,
Both.
okay.
But we've been talking about that literally for 5 years.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I just need to see something actually in motion now. All right, what's next?
Anish, in 2014, when I saw Dawn of Planet of the Apes, I left the theater and immediately prayed to the movie gods that they would allow Matt Reeves to make a Batman movie. 8 years later, here we are. You're welcome, everyone.
It's all on you, Anish.
Anish, thank you.
It's all on you. Listen, that is why exactly what you're saying there, Anish. That is why when my heart broke that we weren't going to have Ben Affleck writing and directing and starring in a Batman movie, it broke my heart. But if it can't be Ben, you'd be hard pressed to find another choice than Matt Reeves. So yeah, it's going to be great to see. All right, what's next?
Josie reviews again. My box office predictions this weekend for Jackass 4 and the Oscar award-winning Moonfall. Jackass Forever, 40 mil. Moonfall, 5 mil.
I'm thinking Moonfall 9, Jackass 30. Moonfall
Really?
9, Jackass 30.
That sounds
Is
reasonable.
that good? What do you
I
think?
I 5 sounds good to me.
I think Jackass might make more.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so, especially if we like it. Ray, you got a prediction?
Nope.
No prediction.
26 million for Jackass.
right.
7 for Moonfall.
7 for Moonfall. All right. Don't forget, it's not getting the Canadian theaters.
Oh, right.
So that will,
Yeah.
and Canada, for those of you who don't know, is considered domestic box office
Yeah. Oh.
with the United States. Not nearly as big, so it's not going to hurt it that much, but that is going to be a factor. All right.
Historically, Canada loves the moon.
Loves Canada,
Big-
loves the moon.
big moon fans.
Big moon people. Huge moon people we are. All right, what's next?
John Redcorn. Well, everyone wants Garfield to come back as Spider-Man for Sonyverse. What do you think could be some drawbacks to it, and why don't you think it will happen?
Well, I mean, it's very simple. Marvel has the whole notion is Andrew Garfield will come back to be Spider-Man in the Sonyverse, and they're going to keep doing Spider-Man movies in the Marvelverse. Marvel has no interest in doing that. Marvel has no interest in making and putting hundreds of millions of dollars into a live-action Spider-Man movie when another studio is also doing live-action Spider-Man. Sony has no interest in that. Marvel has no interest in that. The other big downfall of that is we're all recent historians. Everybody forgets a lot of people did not like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I
Right.
always did.
I loved him.
I've been on that bandwagon the whole time, even when everybody called me crazy and dumb. I'm
I
telling
thought
you,
his
he's great.
first Amazing Spider-Man I really liked
Yeah,
with
me
the
too.
lizard,
It's
Kirk
great.
Connors. I thought it was a good movie.
I'm not thrilled with the Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I still thought he was great as Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
And him and her. So, yeah, I just look. Is it possible? It is possible. I love Rob's notion of the whole idea from where I'm sitting on my screen. I love Rob's idea of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man being in Venom 3.
Yeah.
I love that idea. And I hope he's right. I just don't think he is. But I mean,
I don't
what's
have
your
any-
underlying thing for thinking that he would be, though? Besides the fact that it's an awesome idea.
Well, because the only reason being is who. Look, Venom 2, Electric Boogaloo made money, and they're gonna make a Venom 3, and who's he gonna fight? Who's Venom's foil gonna be? And I think with the success, look, if No Way Home wasn't as successful, I wouldn't have thought this would happen. But with this kind of success, it seems like it's a way you can have Venom and Carnage and Spider-Man in a movie that's still a Venom movie. So it wouldn't interfere with what they want to do in the MCU. I don't think even Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige's the kind of guy who would be like, you know what would be cool? He's that kind of guy. And I'm sure he's like, it would be kind of cool if you put Venom and
Like I said,
Spider-Man.
I would love to see it. I absolutely would. All right, what's next?
Brandon Blake. Boba seems like he'd be happier as a galactic animal rescuer than a crime boss. Maybe he needs to reevaluate his life choices.
I think it all comes down to the final episode. You know what? Somebody asked me an interesting question last night. They said, do you think that Book of Boba Fett maybe would have played, as it is, it would have played better on like a Netflix where they dropped it all at once? And I thought about that. And I think the answer to that is no, because honestly, I would have turned the show off after the first 2 hours. The fact that it's going week to week and we have weeks to think about it and speculate about it and pontificate about where things could go, that has kind of kept me on the train. But I think if I had sat down to watch a 5-hour view watch of Boba Fett, I probably would have ditched on this show after hour 2. So I don't know. I'll never know for sure, but it's an interesting question. All right, what's next?
Ketchup on eggs. Can I get a big fat Twilight boy?
I don't take requests, but Chris just did a good one for
we
you.
go.
All right, what's next?
Elizabeth Dorado. The School of Good and Evil is directed by Paul Feig. Feig, thank you. So it's 100% getting a Kids'
Kids' Choice Awards. Listen, everybody gives Paul shit for that Ghostbusters movie, which I don't even think was all that bad. But everybody conveniently forgets he has made some damn great movies.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's a reason he attracts the type of talent who like to work with him. So I look, it might be great. Again, I just, to me, maybe this isn't fair. On the surface, it just looks like a Harry Potter ripoff. But maybe once we move beyond the surface, it's going to be very much its own story. So we'll see. All right, what's next?
Another from Anish. Sick of Netflix's anime live adaptations. Now it's One Piece. Ruining Cowboy Bebop and Death Note wasn't enough for them?
I would say getting sick of it when they've done what, 2?
Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 over. When did the Death Note one? And the Death Note one was bad.
That was atrocious.
But-
Cowboy Bebop, I didn't think it was as bad as everyone said it was. That blackmail line was gross and awful, but everything else in it I thought was fine.
How long ago was Death Note, though?
Couple years.
It was like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
ago.
even
Didn't they do the
probably
one with the
5 years ago
with the boy in the robot too? Full Metal.
Alchemist?
No,
Alchemist?
that
They
was.
didn't do that?
They
was
did
on
Lost in
Netflix.
Space. Netflix did Lost in Space, but that's not
That's
an anime adaptation.
You're thinking of Full Metal Alchemist, which was like a fan-made
Oh,
thing, I
okay.
think.
So yeah, I like a couple of shots in 3 or 4 years. I'm not saying I'm over it yet.
No.
And I still listen. I got a lot of belief their Avatar series is going to be good.
And I welcome a One Punch Man. Come on, Netflix.
One Punch
love
Man.
Put it up.
Punch Man.
Just put
One
it up.
Punch Man.
I don't care if it's crap. Just put it up.
Okay, what's next?
Cinema Reviews, calling it now. The cow in the next Peacemaker episode is going to be a Mothra, like he guessed in the pilot, and he'll complain about no jetpack to Murdigan.
You know what? That's a damn good call. That
Yeah.
is
I like
a
that.
great callback to the Mothra. James Gunn loves his callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Loves them. That is a great call. I mean, they're calling it the cow, so maybe yes, maybe no, but I think that's a well done, Casino. I bet you're right. I bet you're right about that. All right, what's next?
Ben Rayner, over under 20% Ring of Power trailer for Super Bowl? I say over. You?
No, because it's there's no point in dropping that kind of money for a show that isn't even dropping for another 6 months
Yeah.
or 7 months. It just whatever pop you get from it is going to be gone after a few weeks, and you just wasted your money. So
Jurassic World for sure.
Jurassic World, Top Gun, Doctor Strange 2. I think those are still.
Did
the two
you
main
ever
bets.
watch the clip I sent you, the Tom Cruise Kansas City Chiefs Cincinnati
No,
Bengals
I did get
video?
the clip. I got the clip, but I never.
Why,
clicked
what
on
happened
it. I
with
totally
Tom
forgot
Cruise?
about it.
They did a Bengals
Before the
Kansas
Bengals
City
Chiefs game.
and it was like a 2-minute trailer where Tom Cruise is talking about football.
Oh, okay.
And then they're intercutting it with Top Gun footage.
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty good.
All right, what's next?
Elizabeth Dorado, Tommy talking to his junk part in Pam and Tommy comes from Tommy Lee's biography.
Oh, I never read Tommy Lee's biography, but yeah, there is a very wild scene where he's just him and his dick are just having this big conversation with between the two of them, and
I relate.
and it's moving and kind of talking to
It's
him.
like Venom.
Yes. No.
Tommy. I'm hungry, Tommy.
I need to bleach my brain.
Find me, Pamela.
Oh yeah.
I need a blonde, Tommy.
Okay. All right.
Oh, boy.
What's next?
Larry Lee sent in a super chat. Thank you, Larry Lee. And Bartleby Scrivener sent in a $20 super chat. So thanks,
Oh, just to be supportive. Thank you,
Yeah.
Bartleby. Appreciate that very much. And guys, that'll do it for today's installment on that Venom picture in your head.
Oh, no.
Tommy. That'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those comments and questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported our channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the John Campea Show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Also want to thank the people in the room sitting over here. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, where can people follow you?
Sorry, I'm still laughing about it. You can find me on Instagram at Robert Meyer Burnett. You can find me on Twitter at Burnett RM, or find me on my own YouTube channel, The Burnett Work.
And right beside him, the jackass anticipating, Ray Ora. Ray, where can people follow you?
Ray Ora with a 0.
And by the way, don't forget, guys, you'll be able to see me and Ray doing our right out of the theater reaction tonight for the movie. And right beside him, of course, is Chris Carr. Chris, where can people find you?
Oh, washing out my mind's eye today. At actor Chris Carr on both Twitter and Instagram.
And you guys can follow me on social media simply at John Campea. That'll do it for us for today, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. My name is John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.